I'm happy.
Oh, roulette? Please tell me that wasn't on.
We are live now.
Hey,
So that's not where it starts.
Put on your live faces. You're happy and not tired.
We are
Professionals.
Oh dear. We're
Yeah.
trained professionals.
We're-
I
we're-
swear.
I'm trained.
I wouldn't put trained in front of there.
Yeah, with
We are
experience.
professionals through trial and error.
I'm self-trained.
We're not professionals.
We're experienced people who try this,
No
try
idea
to do
what
this
we're
on a Friday basis.
Friday basis.
Friday basis.
Not weekly, just on Fridays.
Just
That
on
we're here.
Fridays. Yeah. There we go.
Thank you, local IT expert.
Another catching up.
Yeah.
There we go.
Expert, they say.
Turn it on, turn it back off.
Are you as much of an expert as we are?
Well,
Yes.
He's just the bass player. He
So-
probably like carries the cases and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
jeez.
got a follow
He
already.
probably turns on
Thank you.
lights.
I can't see the name, but thank you for the follow.
Seafood, great.
Oh.
Great.
Seafood.
Seafood.
Seafood. Not
By the
seafood.
way,
Seafood.
That's my favorite. Oh.
by the way, thank you all so much. We picked up some off-stream follows. There were a couple of those. Thank you so much for following us, even though we weren't live.
Yeah,
and
we
then thank you
appreciate
everybody who followed us last week. Even though we said we appreciated it last week as well. But thank you so much for following us last week during our little get together and our real roundtable discussion here. You know, we appreciate that you guys hung out and just even cared what we had to say. And once again, thank you all so much for the raids, for the support. Thank you so much for the subs and the resubs. We really appreciate the support that this community gives us, and we love every one of you. We love you so fucking hard, right in the face. So much. So hard.
Keep going.
Listen, I know you all might be touching
caliente.
yourselves, but, you know, keep going.
Muy
Or touching adorable puppies like Rooster.
Yeah, we're doing that. But either way, welcome to Legendary Action. We're so happy to be back and be playing Dungeons and Dragons again today. As you can see, we have the full cast here tonight. Everybody is ready to go. We're ready to play more D&D.
Yeah.
Ready to rock.
Thank you so much, everybody. All the regulars, we see you all in there. Kilted Viking, Oak Tree. You guys are awesome. Obscurelisk, Fragile. Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up and supporting us. We love you. So much.
Welcome to
Yeah, I see you there too, Hinata Coffee.
We love you.
I see you.
Bring money.
Yeah.
My dog should be out there watching, so...
I feel like your dog is watching more.
Yeah.
I heard you over there. I was like, is he gonna say it?
You
Why are you
mixed
there?
references, but I love it.
Zach, what's up, man? We are getting together your prize this week. It is all coming together now. All the pieces are there, so yeah, you're gonna have to take pictures, show it off, post it in the Discord. You know, share it because it's cool.
Shame people.
What was I doing?
Shame Matt.
Oh.
Make sure at so you can see your sick books you never got a copy of.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure. Just shame him for D&D's life is not used.
Yeah.
Yeah, you reach your status.
But it is occupied.
Well, don't go around the
It's
shame
occupied.
game, man. There's plenty of shame to go around.
Look,
There is, but that's just a really good name.
Except for Rowan.
Look,
Rowan
I
doesn't
have
really have anything
actual
to be ashamed
things
of.
to be ashamed of.
Exactly.
That's what I tell my daughter.
So, news-wise, we are still waiting for updates on the couple of things that we talked about and hinted at last week. It's going better than expected, basically, is all there really is to say about it. We're trying to gain additional permissions for other things. The catalog is growing, so we're doing that. Aside from that, what else are we working on this week? What else we got coming up this week?
We have a Warhammer 40k tournament out in Dyson Duels.
Another one, huh?
Yep.
Ooh.
Sure do. 2,000 point game this time.
Ooh.
So,
It's a big game.
yeah.
May the blood angel sisters fist you.
Fist.
Are you not
Fist.
going?
I am not. Unfortunately, we are at the point in my job where I cannot take time off for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Period.
Busy season.
Oh boy, I don't envy you, buddy.
Gotta move.
It's fine. I took a lot of vacations between
Well,
now and a year
I
ago.
would say, may the Emperor bless you, but I just don't know who you're playing as in the tournament on a regular basis.
We don't know whose side you're on.
You have
I think
loyalists
you said
painted
that
up
very
like
clearly.
Alpha Legion. It confuses me.
I'm sorry.
I said
Alfarius. I would have brought Dark Angels, but I don't know what
Congratulations,
side they're on
Oak
either.
Tree. Vacay, so it was nice. Vacay time.
Oh, I totally misread that vacancy. I'm like, you run a motel? I was like, what?
My
Need
first.
some vacancies.
No, I just misread it. Like, contacts sit in front of you. I don't know what to say.
I've ran the hotel for 20
How-
years and never
how-
had a vacancy.
Yeah. How did your D&D game go that you bailed on us for?
Yeah.
Kilton Viking would like to say that Alpha Legion is loyal.
Is it loyal?
Alpha
How
Legion
loyal?
is
Thank
not
you.
loyal.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. You don't know Alpha Legion.
I
Get out of
do
your
know.
Dark Angels. They can have traitors.
Yeah, and that half is dead. Slowly.
Sure.
Great
Yeah.
Paladin art
Yeah,
with the
I can't
host. We
refrain.
appreciate
Great
you.
Paladin, thank you so much for the host. We appreciate it. I love your face. Anybody who's a fan of miniature painting and watching awesome minions be painted, make sure you check out Great Paladin art. How about we give him a shout out in the
Oh,
Like
and
you're
subscribed.
Subscribed. You are so fucking awesome. Thank you for your continued fucking support of the Hall of Legends and all the awesome people who are in here. People who don't understand. I will say this though. This will be interesting. I am commissioning a custom model from Great Paladin Art for the channel to show
Oh,
off.
no.
Oh,
It
dear
may or
Lord.
may-
no.
It may or may not be something that they will face in the campaign at some point in time.
It
But
will be.
it will be here and it will be being shown off so that everybody can see it and so we can hold it up and be like, look at how great his work is, like every time we talk about him on
And
stream.
then it will
Oh,
kill
so we
us
can
all.
gawk at it while we die?
Yeah.
So beautiful!
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
might
watch
just die on purpose.
Here, I'll ask the question.
You're like, I just can't bring myself to slay this imaginary creature being portrayed by this plastic thing. I just can't do it.
It's just
Will
too
it eat
beautiful.
the bard is the question that nobody wants to know.
hold on. Most importantly, good morning, Great Paladin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's
Good
great
morning.
to stay awake.
What? Did you give him a shout
That's
out?
weird.
Someone give him a shout
No,
out.
give him a shout out. Shout him out.
Where's our mods?
And down below, I never heard
With a
back
child.
from you, but we made you your own little panel, own little
No, he
spot.
saw it. He likes it.
You saw it? Oh,
Yeah,
great.
he saw
I
it.
never heard back about that. So I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, you piece of crap.
I
What,
worked
you
really
respond
hard.
to messages?
I worked really hard.
Oh, no, she
I
is
didn't work
there.
that hard. I wanted to work harder, but I didn't want to
There
just
you go.
muddy it up.
Shootout.
Queen Breeze, you want to shout out him, not shoot at him?
Listen,
Shoot out out the west.
this is how we do things out here in fucking America.
Good morning. It's high noon over here, boy.
This is a gun-friendly environment.
It is. But yeah, so
No guns were harmed in the making of this production.
just the people who saw it.
Yeah, just people. But who needs them?
What are you doing?
Freaking out.
Getting in the garbage.
Somebody get me my desk gun.
Whatever it takes.
But yeah, so welcome to the channel, everybody. We're so glad that you could join us here tonight, and we're super happy. Thank you once again, Great Paladin, for the subscription and your continued support of the channel. We love your face. We love everything about you. Good times. It still surprises me you're here every time.
Yeah, every time.
Every time. Every time.
It always brings a big part of happiness too.
Everybody's here.
Someone wants to see us. I'm so happy.
Looks
about
like we're only really missing Gavin. Said he's not going to be here.
And the Reaper.
Corbo.
And well, Reaper, she's
streaming,
probably
I think.
streaming right now.
Yeah.
I think.
She's at work.
Yeah, she's
Alright.
No, Kima.
business?
I think Kima's the only one who's not here at the moment unless
Yeah,
she's
the Reaper.
working.
Yeah, the Reaper.
The Reaper.
The Reaper,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Kima.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear she's doing some special games with some of her community members. I think
Ooh.
Sunday? The 10th.
Yeah,
Whatever the 10th is.
this Sunday.
Sunday.
And then
Monday.
Malachi.
Sunday.
Colin was so
Sunday.
excited he woke up before his alarm.
Nice.
Why didn't you take advantage of going back to bed? Because that's the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah, snooze button, bro. Snooze.
Waking up, seeing your alarm, you're just like,
Come here.
yeah.
Come here.
Snooze button's gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's awesome. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, Kima, just know that we love you, and we miss you when you're not here. Hopefully, you don't have to go to work like too early in the morning or
She's
something.
probably off playing like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, Luigi's mansioning it up.
Yeah.
That game looks like a bit of fun.
A bit of fun.
So-
A bit.
Either way, I don't think we have any other announcements, do we? Nothing on your end for the projects that you're working on?
No, my projects are on hold until some people get me backstories.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant
Oh,
the
okay.
Other projects.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
other project.
All the projects.
Thanks.
Dang it.
Thanks
No,
for
no, that's all good.
Yeah.
I want to throw someone on the bus.
Yeah. My project is I'm working on printing out the Bold Maw Lizard set that was just released by Artisan Guild. It's freaking dope.
Yeah, 3D printing. Those are some awesome. Their modeling is just getting better and better with every set that they release.
I wish I was talented.
Yeah.
talented people make me jealous because I'm petty.
Yeah, I'm petty, and I'm just ignoring all the
petty
hard
because I'm
work it took
jealous.
them to get there, you know?
Well, I'm petty and, kind of lazy. So, like, I see talent, I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice. And
That'd
then
be
I go and
nice.
sit and do nothing. Because I'm Batman.
Only everything worked like it did in the Matrix. Sure, I need a program to be an artist.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Elon.
Yeah.
Get on it, Elon.
Elon. I don't even got anything else to do.
Please just download talent and knowledge. That'd be great. That's all I ask for.
Knowledge app 1.0.
Guys, he's busy planting trees.
I guess the one other thing we could mention is Veterans Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we can
that's
take
true.
a minute, to appreciate our veterans, which I know we have some in the chat, and we
And
have
one
some
at
at
the
the table. Well, one.
I was like, some? Who else
Some.
served?
Yeah.
Rowing.
It's in the special army.
Yeah.
Salvation Army.
Well, depending on what service you talk to, the Army is special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless I said I was in the Coast Guard.
Hey, I'm a slave to the Army. I work for the Army, right? I'm a slave.
Don't poke fun at the Coast Guard, man. There's those dudes who probably work off like the Florida Keys and stuff. Those guys are probably serious badasses. Those bell choppers got M60s in them, No fucking joke.
But in all honesty, in earnestness, authentic, from the bottom of my heart.
Look at it. Just keep digging the hole.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I don't know how to talk.
If I had a show, I'd give it to
But
you.
yeah, but for everybody out there who is serving
M240.
and has served,
Yeah.
thank you for what
Yeah,
you've done.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
That new movie, that Midway movie came out, and that's been getting pretty good reviews. So I'm interested. I would love to watch that. I love the original.
That did come out.
Midway.
I like that as saying you have a speech problem. I have a localized radio.
That's a big deal.
Dead
So,
Zone. All
It's a great movie.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just in general. I love historical authenticity as much of it as I can get in movies like that. It's just great. And Midway particularly was just a turning point for the whole direction the war was going.
Andy is
If
a
we did
buff.
not win the Battle of Midway, the United States does not beat Japan in World War II. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So
Thanks for not getting blowed up.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, because then you couldn't
I
play
did my
D&D
best.
with us.
You would have.
As a matter of fact,
really
how
made
dare
Mom-
you join before we get to know you, you selfish bastard? Don't think of anybody other than yourself.
The mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
Improvise, adapt, overcome, and that's what he brings to D&D.
Click the doobly-doo if you want to know.
You know what? It kind of is.
Yeah.
No backstory.
Yeah,
No,
it just does.
it's just out.
I
It's
like
like the
to.
sun. It just
Well,
is.
to be fair, to be fair, look, he doesn't get all the credit. I pitch him softball shit on a
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
basis.
You just
I just do
easy
it for
pitches
him.
for me.
Well, I guess that's
Thanks,
one
Andy.
step above
Another-
T-ball.
Yeah.
Out this part. Thanks, man.
Underhanded. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey Dylan, there's stuff going on in your homeland that is related to your backstory.
No, I was a 12 Bravo. I was a combat engineer. 6 years of service in the Army. 3 years down in El Paso. 3 years up in
The
New York.
West Texas town
I
of
know.
El Paso?
Fort Bliss.
I mean,
I fell in
realistically,
love
isn't
with a
everybody
Mexican
infantry
girl.
first? That's kind of the deal,
No,
right?
no,
Yeah.
no. Listen,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
No.
You did firearms, right? Basic training.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
does basic training.
Rifleman first.
But listen, there's a little. No. Some people are going to get a hand grenade. I'm not sure everybody actually passes that test. You throw it and you duck down, like you're supposed to dive down after you throw it because you need to take cover.
Oh yeah.
I'm not 100% sure the grenade actually landed where it needed to, unlike some people. Just saying, all right? But they didn't see it, so it's a go.
That's a government secret.
It has like a 40-yard kill zone, dude. You know. It's
Yeah,
like-
if you don't get it, it's a 15, then you got like another 30 fucking main radius. I don't think it went past the 30.
Yeah. Well, in really close space, it definitely does a lot better of a job in real life than it does in Call of Duty. That's for sure. And Rainbow Six.
Anyway.
Yeah.
My
My room is
engineer.
dead.
Yeah,
Bundle of
you're welcome. You're
Dude,
welcome. That I made.
I'm a badass with bottle rockets. That's all I've got to add to this conversation.
I'm actually
Yeah,
pretty
thank you,
decent shot.
Trey.
I shot a 22 once. That was cool.
I haven't shot in a long time.
As a matter of fact, I was actually going to suggest to you that, and ask Dylan if, while the weather is still pretty nice, if you wanted to go shooting, like we should go take you
Shooting
shoot the
what?
big boy guns.
Shooting what?
Big boy guns.
Yeah, we
No,
shot
but no. But
Things
like
bigger
shooting
than a
what?
22.
What are we pointing the guns
targets.
People.
If you guys want to make a day of
Just
it,
small
Targets.
come
Yeah,
down
we
to
go to Yerington.
Yerington.
You go down to Yerington. Go
You
do
come
some
down to
shooting.
Yerington town. My mom has like a whole big box of empty wine bottles. We can
See, Matt
Oh,
did
that's
it.
fun.
Matt did the
fun.
box.
have a very good time.
You shoot the AR-15, and you got the
Oh, I got all sorts of stuff.
I always want to call it I always want to call it SKS, but that's not what it is, right?
It's no, it isn't. It is an SK. I don't know, some sort of AK, some sort of knockoff.
AK platform.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It's a chest knockoff.
Yeah,
It's a check.
I could put
It's a
dirt
bad
in it.
guy gun.
Yeah, it's a bad guy gun. I'm pretty sure I could put dirt in it if it fires.
I got the Mosin, and
Yeah.
I got the 30-30 lever,
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I want that. I had it's been a long time since I fired a lever action.
and I've got the AR
I actually never done it once before.
at home.
The only thing there's only two guns that I've ever actually really wanted to fire that I've never fired, and that's an M1 Grand and a Thompson. I've never fired either. And I want to.
Those are expensive.
Mm.
Oh my god.
45 ACP fully automatic. Yeah, I really want to.
That does sound fun.
I got a nice 308 if you want to feel some kick. Your shoulder will be a little sore in the morning, though.
It's great.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Just saying.
Alex is sitting there going,
It's fun to blow a
"These are
hole in
big words.
things.
I don't know what these words are, but
No,
yeah.
I know what the words are. I'm just like, okay.
He's down to do it all.
No, I don't
He's
care.
down for whatever.
It's like, like it's cool, but I've never been I never got so
Well,
involved
anyway,
that I was really passionate.
Now that we're done planning
Yeah.
our little
Hey,
holiday,
Andy,
Yeah.
you've been offered a chance. Oak Tree says his family owns an M1.
Yeah, Oak Tree's really far away though.
He says you can float to Florida.
Yeah.
And let you shoot it.
Can
Question
you shoot
is-
him for
And
him?
you're right, Viking.
The important question is he paying for the bullets?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's not that bad. Not that bad.
Yeah, as long as you're not just going crazy.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
I
aim,
can't
fire,
agree.
take your
Just
time,
do like
enjoy
maybe,
it.
I'd probably just do like it's only 8 rounds in the stripper clip, so just fire just go through like 14 or maybe 16 some 20 something rounds probably.
But I gotta
That's
see-
not bad.
But I gotta see how many rounds I
I'll
can
pay
get
for one round.
from the hip.
Yeah. Well, that's my point.
Two of
Two of those are fucking mag dumps, and the other one is for fun. You know, aim fire. But, yeah. It's like I 100% believe that like that style iron sight, those open sights like that, the M1 and probably the M14, it's like the best iron sights for a gun ever made. I hate the ARs iron sights. I hate them so much. Just not a fan. Not a fan.
This is a circle, then there's a lollipop, and you just put the thing that you don't want to exist anymore on top of that lollipop.
That is such a good description of how that works.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you, soldier? Like, what is going on?
Shoot the lolly!
Shoot the top of the lollipop!
I haven't taken the Mosin out in so long, but it's totally fucked. It's sitting getting hot and cold in the closet.
Once a year, man, at least minimum. You gotta clean your
Hot
rifles.
and cold.
I gotta sight it in and clean it again.
Yeah,
I don't know, I just
I
thought
gotta,
of Katy
I gotta
Perry
recite
song.
the AR, so it'd be a good opportunity to do that if you go down in Yerington and go
Swords
shooting.
and sorcery.
He says
Swords?
sword and sorcery?
Sword and
So either way,
Sorcery.
since we've all established in chat that we like guns, how about we play D&D?
And chat established that they also like guns.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, take the handgun out too. Oh no, I don't have any. I have to buy a round
I
for the
don't
Glock.
actually own
So
one.
no,
Oh wait, I think I like
all I have is my personal defense mags. So
I still
I'm
think
not.
I still think I have a box.
Oh, 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, I'll look, but maybe you can shoot. Maybe you can shoot the Glock when we go. It depends on how many rounds I have. Because I'm not shooting my personal defense ammo.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Either way, I'm excited to play Dungeons and Dragons. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into that. We're gonna play some. So we're gonna run a quick little intro, and we're gonna see you guys in about a minute 40 seconds or so. So Go get your drinks, go get your fucking popcorn, sit your ass in your seats and get ready for some awesome fucking D&D and some role-playing and some great shit and some legendary fucking action, because that's what you're about to get.
Correct.
Yeah.
The first thing everyone wanted me to
Yeah.
do, especially my dad, was like, "Let's go shoot a gun." I'm like, "Is that allowed?"
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to
Welcome to America.
teach you about rights.
Yeah.
The great equalizer of firearms.
Exactly.
Probably
If
the
someone
greatest
has a
thing.
knife, and they're 300
God
pounds,
didn't make men equal. Smith and Wesson did.
It's true. Well, it's like, you know,
Sounds like a
you're
slogan.
like
That's true.
140
That's a
pounds
good
or
slogan.
whatever.
I can't
300
outrun
pound
shit.
Yeah, it was a good slogan.
I
That's
make
what
up for it, man.
that's what they
Pretty
ran their gun with when they started selling it.
Yeah.
That's a good slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't use that anymore.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's like, hey, go out. You can shoot somebody with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so last time, this actually be pretty brief. Last time, the party you had. Sorry.
The Reaper!
Oh my goodness, we've been waiting.
We've been waiting so excited for you to be here.
We held off the episode in fear of your revenge. You
Yeah.
started too early.
Run the good intro.
Yeah.
Get all the good shit out. Where's the China?
Then we gotta do it all over again, Kima.
From the top, people.
Yeah, from the top. So it's gonna be a little while. I don't remember what I said. But,
Sorry. Sorry.
Say that thing you said about the guns.
yeah, I know, right? That whole thing, that whole spiel. Yeah, we're gonna go shooting one of these weekends. That about wraps it up.
Yeah.
So, where was I? Okay, so you guys had looking for leads to, or connections to find the ranger that Mike was looking for. You had went to the mine. This is really brief, obviously, because I don't have my notes tonight, so
We
I'm
didn't
trying
do
to
a whole
remember.
lot.
So you did that, and then more or less got nowhere. And then on the way out, you met a group of kobold adventurers called Stoutheart, who ambushed you on the road and held you at magic point. I don't know, magic and sword point, I guess.
Claw
They were
point.
going to destroy you. You know,
Obliterate.
they were going to obliterate you. You wouldn't have stood a chance, according to these kobolds, at least.
Tell them how we parlayed.
Yeah. You parlayed with the kobolds.
Parsley, parsnip,
And then they walked you back to your camp where you met, more or less, I guess, what could be described as their adoptive father, I guess, to a degree, is how you would look at it. A dragonborn. A very old gold dragonborn.
I have my notes. Just loading.
And from there you
Just came back.
You went back to town. You checked in on Hargraves, who had been drinking and eating and making the merry old time inside the inn you're staying at.
Oh yeah, and then I tried to. We were. Yeah.
Stuff happened.
We were drinking.
You know what? I feel like I
we
was
were
there.
drunk.
What?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some good dwarven
I
drunk.
was reading.
You feel
What
like
happened
you
here?
were there.
I can't do
Boss
two
had a little
things at
heart to
once.
heart with Solos.
Yeah.
I did. We did do that.
We did have a talk.
We talked.
been
Yeah.
This is what happens when 2 weeks goes by,
I told
guys.
you that you should like buck up or get lost, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the short of it.
Yeah.
And after that, you guys decided to go looking for the ranger specifically, and going through the woods towards his last known location, you end up stumbling upon a really, really old relic of elven make, which, upon further scrutiny, isn't actually elven make. It's actually a ladrin, and it was built as a gate to the Feywild back when travel between the planes was more common between the Eladrin and their kindred elves. And after investigating and checking it out, you were then met by what seemed to be a ranger with a group of wolves, dire wolves, around the perimeter of this grove where this ancient arcane portal gateway has been left to be overgrown.
They were
Lost,
large and black.
lost to time and forgotten.
Works best in your hand.
In your hand.
Firmly grasp it.
Yes. Not too hard though, because I feel like you'll break it if you take that too literally.
Just imagine you're holding a potato
It
chip.
works.
Yeah. Imagine you're holding a potato chip. That's a great way to describe how much pressure to apply to a pencil or pen.
You don't want to break it. But
It's like that's the way to describe it, but it's an instruction you have to give almost nobody.
Yeah, Wiggly Ash, how's it going? Thank you so much for dropping in and seeing what's going on.
Wiggle, wiggle,
Wiggle,
wiggle.
wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I'm glad you're okay. PPE is your last line of defense. It's the lowest rank of your control system. Hazard recognition and control.
This definitely.
Hazard mitigation.
How terrible.
She didn't hold it like a potato chip.
You didn't care for it like you would a potato chip.
you think you just put a potato chip right back in your back, huh?
Never
Gonna get crushed.
forget eye protection. So,
Never forget.
what was I doing? Oh yeah, can't play Bug Music.
Remember the eye protection.
Oh, a kid. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
If we looked it up.
A little baby goat.
I thought you said you kind of did.
What was that baby goat doing in your shop class?
What?
What?
A
Goats
kid
are
is
kids.
yeah.
Little goats are kids.
Brenda would get it.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're
That's
kids. That was a play on words.
Yeah, it was. It was a play on words.
Because one word means two things.
Yeah, it does mean.
Is that a... Oh,
I get
wow.
I get
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
That was a funny joke.
So, in this grove,
It's green.
this green grove in the middle of the day, or the evening, I should say. What are you laughing at?
I see what you. You did it again. That's. But at least they're spelled different. Is that what's that called? An onomatopoeia, something like that? Two words that sound the same. Spelled.
No, it's like a homonym.
Yeah, homonym. That's it.
I think onomatopoeia are the words.
Those are.
It's like
words
pow and
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, whatever.
It's like a polygraph, right?
Vocabulary with Matt.
Today's word is synonyms.
Wasn't it woeful?
Yeah, it was woefully.
Today is woeful.
It's the word of the day.
Today's word is woeful.
Oh, we gotta implement that into our games.
Oh,
So what, the word of the day?
Word of the day.
what of the day?
Yeah,
We need
anything for
reasons to
Mike's sake.
sell. We need.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, so you're
All right, we
woefully
should-
ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
distracting everyone.
Alright, letter of the day is Q.
For quiet?
The letter of the day is
quiet.
Q for shut the fuck up.
Can you use that in a
The
sentence,
Q is silent.
please?
Let's play D&D.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, keep telling me
Do you even play D&D?
this guy's accusing us of trespassing on his lawn.
Was he? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what he said.
No, this is not what he said.
Yeah, what
No,
did
It was
he
like a
say?
sacred grove.
Well, why don't you set the scene then,
I can't.
Theolin? And
It's been 2 weeks. I'm not that intelligent.
He's like, why are you here?
Yeah, I think he more or less asked you why you were here, but I don't think he.
And I think
He
that's
talked about it being a sacred site.
Yeah, but I don't think he.
He wasn't
the
like.
implication was that you weren't supposed
No.
to be there. It's just
No, he just had his bow out.
Ah, I believe his bow pointed at us and his attack
No,
rolls.
definitely not. It was down. And
it was
he had-
down. I
Yeah,
remember.
it was out and drawn,
It
but
was
down.
Yeah, it was
Oh, right.
down, and that's because I remember because I was like, oh, hello.
So, the wolves, keeping a fair distance though, but looking around, you can see in the outskirts in the undergrowth that there's probably a count maybe 8 or 9 wolves that you can see at the moment, plus a particularly large and menacing black dire wolf that has made its way near the ranger into the grove, kind of in a guard posture as well. So yeah, so that's where we pick up then. Just standing there.
Theolin burped.
So I believe he asked you why you were there.
I'm looking for a friend of mine. Well, more of an acquaintance, but a friend of my teacher, to my understanding. I was looking for a gentleman by the name of Tobias.
He took my notes. Is like, yes.
I tried to fix something.
Did it make it worse?
No, it didn't do anything.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. So it kind of made it worse. I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
That's right, Tobias.
Yes, Tobias. He's a friend of my teacher by the name of Geralt.
And why are you looking for him?
I was hoping to have his assistance in getting us to. Oh God. Okay,
Take your time, don't panic.
Last time
It's only a test.
Last time we left our
Does
heroes,
anyone remember the town that we're going to?
Panic.
That we're going to?
Where
We didn't really pick
where
up
your
on
sister is,
we're going to. Oh
where
God.
your sister friend,
Yes.
We're going to Harral, which has a bunch of different
towns.
cities and
Yes,
shit.
But we need to get into Harral.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
in Harrowing.
yeah.
We're in Harral.
We're in Harral.
In the Discord.
She's just in Harral, but we don't know where in Harral.
We know she went to Harral.
We're asking him what he knows about this vampire cult.
Well,
nonsense.
we're trying to avoid. We were trying to
We're
ask him
trying to-
assistance to go through the forests to avoid going on the main
And-
track
Correct. We wanna
because
cut
we're
through-
wanted.
we wanna
And we're
cut
going
past the
to
roads.
what town? We had a town target.
Did we?
We did. Because that's why we're going to hire him, is he's going to get us to the forest unobscured. We were going to get to a town, and from there we were going to look.
Well, you should pull up the Discord map and pick a town.
Sherford?
Sure.
Sherford.
Sure.
No,
Sherford was not. That was our original target. And then we
That was
got
our original target.
kidnapped slightly.
Treskel.
Yeah, aren't we past Sherford?
You mean arrested?
It was just a minor. We were not arrested.
We were escorted.
He was not. It was
Listen, that's not what the books say back in Fall Man.
Listen,
Okay?
you
They say wanted.
can't get arrested by criminals. We were detained by rivals.
We never saw our day in court, so this is, these are just allegations.
Yeah, I never heard any Miranda rights. I didn't see Miranda anywhere.
Benson.
What does she know about my problems anyway?
Well, take your time and pick where you think you're going.
Pick a name. Shout names.
Just
My Discord's not working.
Well, if we cut directly
oh my
west,
goodness! 1 second.
and go and skirt the
Okay,
Black
okay.
Marsh, we can go to Oakhart.
There we go.
Whitecourt.
Not going to Whiteford. To
White
Whiteford.
Horse
Highway.
should be on that.
No, we were trying to go like through Whitecourt previously.
We're going to. We were going to Treskel. No.
We're cutting directly west or north to the river and heading to
Oh
Oakhart.
God. Oakhart.
Well,
No, pick a spot.
Harral as explored. We are currently in.
Okay, Harral has 5 city
we're,
states:
we're heading-
Sherford, Treskel, Westguard, Rivergate, and Canton. Pick one of those that isn't Sherford.
Yes.
Well, hold on.
'Cause we don't know
should
exactly
just
where she
pick one.
is.
We should ask the guy what's nice this time of year.
Well, no, we'll ask him. Maybe he knows. He's heard rumors or something about the vampires as well too. So.
Which town is known for their fantastic
Sherford.
vampire cults?
Boom. Because
Which one has missing people?
that's not a good question.
Which one has missing people that anyone cares about?
I'd say probably go to Rivergate would be the next bet because it's like the central.
It's north of the
Well,
river.
vampires are very averse to running water, so maybe not Rivergate.
Well, Castle
It's just a
Dracula's
cult.
had quite a few people go missing.
It's a cult of vampires, not vampires. We were hoping to get your help going to Rivergate, but we were hoping to ask him questions first. Do I recognize this man as Tobias?
It's been too long, you wouldn't know.
Oh dear gosh. Yes. We're hoping to ask him some questions as well. I was looking for help to try to find a friend of mine, another student of Gerald's. She went missing looking for a vampire cult.
And
If you had any information on if he's heard any rumors of vampires or any of the towns that might be infested with a cult of them, we would like to go there. And if not, go to Rivergate and have his help getting us through the woods.
and this friend of yours has been missing for how long?
I think about 2 weeks now. 2-3 weeks. About 2 weeks.
It's been much longer than that, based off travel time, by the way.
Oh god, it's been about a month.
It was 3 weeks when you heard about it.
It's been about a month. Yeah. About a month. It's been about a month.
What?
Man, I think put him on blast. You don't remember.
And the person that you're looking for, she's not capable of taking care of herself?
I believe she is more than capable of taking care of herself, but just something seems off.
And what are you planning on doing when you find this group? What you're looking for?
I just want to make sure
Where you're
Casey's
going?
alright. Really. We have a whole world to explore. I wanted to stop on the way.
So you just want to find her. You don't care about
Yes.
stopping them?
We'll probably stop them while we're there. We'll be coerced into doing it.
What if they're not in the same place?
Well, I'm pretty sure Casey will want us to go there. And we will be probably going there as long as the rest of my ragtag group will tag along.
We've come this far.
What he said.
He kind of takes a quick little look at the group and at you. The wolves are kind of closing in on the outside, kind of setting themselves to either attack or defend, or you're not really sure, you can't really read them. You can a little bit, because you're familiar with apex predators.
Yep.
So you can see that they look, wolves are more or less, they're just waiting for any good reason to just attack you guys. Any sudden movements, very wouldn't do it. No sudden movements, more or less. It's the kind of vibe you're getting from their posturing.
Kind of keep a closer eye on the wolves around. I don't
What's
like.
his equipment look like? Does he look all ragged and?
He looks like he's been in the wilderness for a long time. His clothing looks pretty worn, fairly stained. He has a really deep. He has a really deep, thick beard. Doesn't look like it's been groomed in a while. Probably a few weeks. His hair's kind of long and a little shaggy on top. But judging based upon the equipment he's carrying, what you can see that isn't covered by his wilderness cloak, he looks like he's wearing armor, some sort of studded leather. He has an emblem that you're not familiar with on it, probably connected to his ranger order, whatever he's a part of, if he is the part of one. The bow looks nice though. You even get a faint sense of magic.
I'd definitely check.
There's a faint sense of magic, and actually now that you've settled kind of into the region here, you can actually feel that there's a strangely magical like kind of aura here in the grove. That's you didn't really pick it up at first when you first came here, but your senses are on like high alert, so you can pick it up now. But there's definitely something about the earth or the ground that seems a little strange, and you also seem to register maybe a few other magic items, magical auras emanating from other parts of his body. Can't really identify it. Maybe possibly a sword in its sheath hidden behind him.
So he's definitely really well equipped.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
He's not wearing a travel pack or anything, though. You don't see a bedroll or anything. It's just him, just the cloak and the bow and the equipment that you can see on him.
So he definitely lives nearby. Ish. You can cover more ground. That's it. I just wanted to check him out and see what he's doing.
Languages. Who speaks what?
I think it's Dwarven, Common, and Celestial.
Common and Gnomish.
You only get 2 languages as a rogue?
Don't cap.
Common, Elvish, Dwarf, and Infernal or Visceral. I can't remember which. I have to look.
Yeah, it's common, draconic, and celestial.
Common, Elvis, Giant, and Lycan.
Hell yeah, I like it.
Yeah, the Bloodhunter.
He speaks
So
Wolf Wolf and
maybe-
Bark Bark.
What is that? Sylvanian or
Yeah, what language is that?
It was a fucking
Sylvan.
weird-
Oh, so
there we go. Thank
we
you.
discussed it. It's almost like a version of Thief Cant for Bloodhunters.
Did we discuss this?
Yes, we
I
did.
don't remember discussing it.
We discussed it.
Okay.
Discussed it at length.
Undercommon.
Possibly. I'll get back to you wrong. Well,
Sure.
Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Infernal.
okay. What were you saying?
I've also got Goblin.
And Goblin? Okay.
Yeah.
Just throw that on there.
I have Sylvan too. I apologize.
You want to know when they're insulting you.
Exactly.
I have to double check.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember us discussing it, but I think it was like the idea of thieves can't, but it's not a language. Like
I just put it down there as a language for a note.
Yeah, I think what we discussed is it's a way for blood hunters to communicate with each other without drawing attention, but it's not like a language.
I put a note of that so I would know that it was.
No,
like
that's
a thing.
fine. No, it's fine.
So-
I was just confused why you called
Yeah.
it like it. I was like,
I was
like most
I
werewolves
couldn't remember.
speak the language of whatever race they
So in D&D Beyond, they don't have
are.
like.
Thieves can. You can just put thieves can.
Yeah, I should have put Thieves Cant, but I didn't. But yeah, so that's what it is.
Okay. I was trying to remember if I had said that like werewolves.
Woofa
spoke a
woofa barka
different
barka.
language or
What do you
something.
say? I don't know. His accent's
Well,
really
it's-
heavy.
Specifically important for this particular reason. So the large direwolf, the black one, turns to the ranger, and you can see that it's making gestures and moving, and like you can see that there's some sort of a tent there, and the ranger starts speaking to him in a language that none of you can speak. And there's some weird like communication, and he uses some strange hand signs, like some quick little signs together at the wolf, and the wolf kind of just backs up. Yes, sir.
So the language he's speaking,
Uh-huh.
even if I don't understand it, do we recognize it? Like, I don't speak German, but
Would you
I could pick it out of a crowd.
That's a good question, actually.
That depends. Would you consider yourself well versed in wilderness?
No, I grew up in the city.
No, then you wouldn't. Yeah. You might. You might, and you might. The two of you might.
Yes.
So if you guys, why don't you guys make perception checks,
Yay!
but not with hearing,
Not with hearing. Oh,
because you can hear it just fine. Just don't
Okay.
go by it.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you need a brain picture.
Oh wow, no, that was bad. I rolled a 3,
13.
which makes it a 7.
It's druidic.
7.
Ooh. She doesn't look Jewish.
So I look over and I notice him doing that. I'm like, that's what Elin does. Elin does that.
And that's one of the reasons you can recognize it, is because you spent so much time with her.
She does that kind of stuff.
Wait, what do you mean, Kenny? What?
Yeah, like whenever she's talking to Sir Reginald, that's what she would do. Like
So-
she would do stuff like that. And when she's out and about. I would follow her. I was curious about what she would do in the wilderness.
So, the ranger, well, unfortunately, Tobias is gone. He left the region and left the order after what happened to the men and the children he was charged with tracking down.
Nobody likes a quitter.
Do you know more?
But if you say you're an acquaintance of his, he puts down the bow, right, straps it on his back, and he gets within about 2 feet of you. And the direwolf kind of comes and circles around and kind of gets behind him, right, just kind of looking over his shoulder, like straight at you. And you see the fangs as it opens up its jaws just enough that you can see it and you can feel the warm breath just coming over his shoulder, like hitting you in the face. And that soft growl, as though it's soft, it's just straight to the core. The enormity of this beast, as large as it is, probably 700, 800 pounds, standing. Yeah, exactly. Standing over you. And he looks at you and says, "About my height?"
I would like to roll a history check.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I would like to add bardic inspiration to the roll if I could. And if not, I'll just flip the coin.
Bardic inspiration's for combat, right?
No, it can be used outside of combat. It can be applied to any roll.
Any roll?
Any
Well,
D20 roll.
I thought you had specific rolls.
Um,
I thought there was attack rolls for you.
No, that's lore.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just going to, as a bonus action, a creature other than you, in 60 feet, you can hear
Okay,
it.
it's fine. Okay, you can do it.
Bark it up. Have I seen a man?
I'm trying to remember what Tobias looks like.
Okay.
Oh!
Wasted roll.
32!
Oh!
So, the last time that you saw Tobias, you were about 13 or 12, right in that range of age, and it was only a really brief encounter. Based upon that, you're guessing that the height is about appropriate for the man. But more importantly, you remember that Tobias had a strange and interesting, what's the right way to put this? His pupils looked more wolf-like than they did human-like. And there was a strange, almost yellowish tint to the ranger's eyes. And that stands out to you more than anything. You're reminded of that.
Does the gentleman in front of me have a similar characteristic?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he was about your height. And the one thing that does stand out about him was his wolf-like eyes. They had a yellowish tint to them, if I recall correctly.
Okay. I guess you did know him then. So that he makes like a couple of hand gestures and speaks more druidic, and the wolves kind of like disperse, except for the black one. It just sits there, but its demeanor changes. It sits. The good boy sits. Chills for a second and looks over your shoulder.
I still don't trust it, so I keep a close eye on that one. You should. With my hand close to a dagger.
Trust it more than a cat.
Now we're born enemies.
You have a priority is confused.
Trustful others.
That's funny. Didn't share it, made me laugh. Either way, so just looking to cross the oak woods
Yes.
and stay off the main roads.
And then if you have any word on any cults or anything like that, do I recognize the symbol of the ranger order that he's wearing?
Make a history check.
22.
You don't really remember what ranger order he was attached to. So, but you've never seen this one particularly.
If you or anyone in your order may have heard of anything like that in the Harrow?
Maybe.
If
There's been a lot of strange things going on in the two cities, in Rivergate and Westguard. The Wolves of Valor would know more, depending on whether or not who you're looking for, what you're looking for is in Westguard.
we could go there, then would they be applicable to questions?
Possibly.
If anything, I would like to...
But if your friend was looking into vampires, there's an interesting man who lives in Rivergate who is studying of occult and strange creatures like that.
Rivergate it is, then.
Alright.
So if she was looking for information, she might have gone there, assuming she has contacts or the ability to do such a thing.
Knowing her, she has quite a few, so...
The Ranger orders have been more... The region has been more concerned with the cult of domination than it has anything else.
Oh god, we've heard that before.
Alright. So, if we're gonna head to Rivergate, which way would be safest for a group like this? Is there roads west from here, or should we head north to the river and just wade down?
Well, the river at this time of year is too strong to cross without using a barge or
I don't want
some
to cross,
sort.
I want to ride it down. I've never been this far west in my travels. So.
From here, going straight forward, going north from here, would get you to the river. It would also mean crossing through Black Marsh and dealing with the Bullywug Fence. And passing perilously close to Ferreton Peak.
You know of anyone who would be able to assist us in getting to the Rivergate through the forests?
Through the forest, the only people who can navigate this forest are rangers.
How about those dogs?
I think they're rangers.
I think they are trained more than we are.
Well, they can guide us, can't
Would there be any rangers willing to take us the journey?
or dogs?
Probably not. Unless you'd like to wait for word and messenger to try to locate somebody.
Aren't you a ranger?
I am a ranger.
Are you otherwise committed?
I'm trying to decide whether or not it's worthwhile helping you. Whether or not your cause merits assistance by the ranger order.
Is it a cause thing or more of a money thing?
Well, it's a cause thing. You seem to have your friend's best interests in hand, but you don't seem like you have Haral's best interests in your hands.
I will, if I may. We are heroes. We've done this before. We will shut up. We would be willing to help in this endeavor because it's what we do. The reason why I didn't say anything sooner is mainly just because we are currently being chased down.
If this cult turns out to be more than just a bunch of morons drowning in blood because they think it'll make them immortal, we'll fight them off. Otherwise, it's a problem for the guards. But a real vampire, that's something that needs to be killed.
And be taken care of.
We can do that.
Vampires have good information on them, don't they? Because they live for thousands
You
of
don't
years.
question. You don't question vampires.
But what if we question one and gather some information on what happened thousands of years ago?
Hold on, you guys are acting like fighting a vampire is a simple means of beating up a bully or a bandit in the streets.
I don't know.
I don't imagine it will be an easy fight at all.
Yeah, not easy is an understatement.
Fighting an undead witch thing creature wasn't a cakewalk either.
We had an army.
Dreadwraith. Fighting an undead Dreadwraith wasn't easy either.
Yeah, it wasn't easy when we had an army.
There was just 6 of us. Well, more.
There was a whole army outside.
Yeah, for the army that was there. We're talking about the final fight with the Dread Boss. The Dread Witch.
Wraith.
I'm a bard and words are hard today.
With the lady.
Gods, he wasn't even there. He knows it more than you.
Good tip to the audience. At least remember what things are called in your DM's world. They really appreciate it. I guarantee it.
I fucking late.
I guarantee
He can't hold this against me.
I guarantee it.
I've stared at Andy's face for 20 minutes, and he's just, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to remember your name."
It also depends on the vampire.
What
It
is
depends
there?
on the vampire.
Is
Versus
there?
be it spawn or echimaras or asps, all the way up to a true vampire. A true vampire would probably kill you.
I
You wouldn't see it coming. It would know of you before you knew of it.
And taking care of the problem isn't the same as us fighting it.
But
If it's just
But-
some morons,
the important question is, you, Alferis, what say you? What do you feel if there's a vampire problem in Rivergate? Would you take care of it, or let it fester?
Well, first, we would. There should be procedures that we go through. Honestly, we're gonna need to contact the town guard, the local militia, probably hire some more blood hunters if the problem's really, we get serious. There's proper channels I think we should go through.
But are you?
Instead of running off like that.
I was just asking because you are the leader and the holy man of the group, aside to Solas. What say you?
Well, I mean, we had the backing of Greencrest for the last problem, so we'll have to see. What the local government.
And that's if we even get there in the first place.
We could down the road.
One challenge at a time.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've gone through a swamp.
that
Yeah.
what
Hydra's.
that didn't sound like a fun story. That swamp.
Yeah, Lynn told me it was quite sticky.
Well,
You're trying to avoid the roads, correct?
Yes.
no.
People are looking for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
we did
Yes.
some stuff.
Whole party. Yeah.
Yes.
I strongly disagree with that position,
People try and kill you just for the way you look everywhere you go.
and that's why I travel the roads. It's just they're nicer. It's easier. You don't have to worry about bears.
You just have to worry about every person.
Well,
And
most people you can scare off, especially me. But,
yeah, it's easier just not having to deal with that in the first place, because then our problems follow us far easier. Oh, have you seen a
if
monstrous demon-looking man? Oh yeah, he went down this road.
I'm not interested in hiding.
Well, looking at the
Well,
map.
tieflings are way more populous on the Shattered Coast than they are anywhere else. So the closer you get to major cities, the way more tieflings you see. So tieflings are pretty. He probably isn't the first. He might be one of the. He might stand out in Fort Clayton, but you would know that like on the main roads and stuff, he wouldn't be the only tiefling that people would see. It's
Okay.
pretty common, especially in Leor, because it has the highest concentration outside of Zamir of tieflings in on the western continent.
We can go whatever direction you all would prefer, but I'm not interested in hiding.
The only reason I ask is because tensions between Temria and Ferelden are resulting in open warfare on the borders of Earl between the two kingdoms. It'd be best to avoid that for anybody traveling, let alone people who have a price on their head in some place or another.
Yeah, and what's wrong with the point at the map? What's wrong with the peaks? Please, does it stay away from them?
Most people generally avoid them. We do.
But what's wrong with them?
Nobody's sure if the Black Dragon lives there or not anymore.
Dun dun dun.
Nobody
Oh.
wants to risk waking it up.
I get it. Yeah, Black Marsh, Black Dragon nearby. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sketchy.
Let's
Well,
not go there.
You know, the whole. I was under the impression the whole reason we needed a man with your skills is because we were trying to avoid the road.
Yes.
It's like we were just trying to get there quickly to save your friend. We just ignore that and all hop on the highway, as it were.
We were trying to get there quickly, but also be careful. In the words of you guys, we're trying not to jump off cliffs without a rope. Well, this is our rope.
Well, does our rope agree?
I think he's still judging.
That's why we just become someone else. Like beggars.
So how do we persuade the rope?
Take care of the vampire problem.
You get a snake.
Well, to take
We'll
what? Promise to take care of the vampire problem?
We're going to find your friend and then look into the same thing she was already doing.
And help her in what she's doing, and then if it is something, we'll take care of it.
If it's real, we'll fight it.
What can we do to convince you to help us? Do you want a nail? I heard people like my nails.
No, I think
That sounds
I
pretty.
think I more or less feel that just on the oath of the paladin that taking care of vampire and vampire spawn is more important than saving his friend. If it comes to sacrificing one or the other. That the good of the region and the people here is more important than one individual. Those are the oaths that we take as rangers.
Are you going to make that oath, Alfarius?
Sounds reasonable.
Will the individual make the people?
They do.
Well, I'm going to do what I can for my friend. And if vampires get in the way, I'll deal with them.
It's not good enough.
That's fine.
Vampire spawn have a way of getting out of control, especially if it's more than just people worshipping some cult. If you can't put the good of the realm over the good of the individual, then I can't help you get there.
Well, looking on the map, we can skirt the Black Marsh, going by the peaks. It'll take us up to the river.
What do we do once we get to the river? Swim? Do you have a boat in your back pocket?
Alfarius.
The current will drown you.
Alfarius.
There's sure to be a little fishing village along the river. We could hide.
No, there isn't.
No, there's a reason we needed to come here. It is very hard to get where we're going if we don't take the road. And I can understand where this gentleman is coming from when it comes to the need of many over the few. I will do my damnedest to save my friend. But if it is her life or a city's, she'd kill me if I chose the other. So I can understand his request.
We can also go south, straight south. Take us to the, what is that? The ocean?
Be west.
Trying to get west? Okay, yeah. I couldn't see the top. Yeah, it is west. Yeah, we can just go straight south. What Black Marsh?
That'd be north.
Black Marsh is north of us?
Northwest.
Yeah, northwest. Yeah. Get to the coast. We just go, and we just go north from there.
Yeah, the Fey Gate isn't marked on the map because it wouldn't be.
And where are we currently on this map?
You can put yourself at Fort Clayton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're near Fort Clayton.
That is...
You're only a couple miles out from Fort Clayton.
That's why I'm fucked up. The west, east, south, north is fucked up. yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I
North
want to
is-
go.
North and south.
Oh my god, it is!
That's where I was like,
Oh, no, show me.
I'm going.
I'm going-
So it's
I looked at one and I
Just
automatically
treat up
assumed what
like
the other
north.
side was.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's why
Just
I'm
treat
like,
up as north and go off of that.
perfect.
I
Yep.
was north.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just go straight west.
Yeah, I'll have to fix that. and
Sorry, I
resave it
smudged the
then.
map.
Yeah,
And
all
that's
the
what-
maps are set up with north at the top and south at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. You have east at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's why we sound like these dumb motherfuckers
East
on
at
our
the
side.
bottom.
You're like,
That's fine.
what the fuck is wrong with these players? Like, it's why we're like, we gotta go east.
Well, I was actually just assuming that you were just guessing and you didn't even realize there was a compass.
No! The first thing you do when you get a map is orientate yourself.
I love that response.
They teach
It's
you
done,
how to be
motherfucker.
That's why we're always like, oh, we want to go east. You like back over the Great Spider Mountains.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, no. we can go straight west. And
Or
then
we
we
can
take
go southwest towards Canton and totally skirt the marsh.
I don't want to go southward, you guys.
Then you risk being drawn into the conflicts between Temria and Ferelden.
There's a war on one side, and something chasing us on the backside.
Or we can always wait for the chasers.
We could. Or I accept the fact that depending on the situation, Harald comes first. That's always asking.
That's reasonable.
Was the bar good enough for you?
No. If the word of strangers was good enough, I wouldn't have put so much emphasis on the paladin taking a holy oath and making a promise.
Yeah, but he's always going on about his faith. Aren't you always talking about protecting the defenseless and all that crap and women and stuff?
I don't know this gentleman here to swear an oath to him.
It's not
Perhaps
to me.
everything's not bought in gold.
It's not an oath to me. It's an oath to your God.
Exactly.
Hold you
But the
accountable
words are coming
anyways.
from you. My God's given me the strength to get there on our own. We thought you could help us speed it along.
I could. I can. I can show you the way to get there, and we can use the wolves. So that way you don't have to worry about the goblins.
Goblins. I'm worried about goblins.
They're
Then
feisty.
again, I'll leave the map a little bit worried. Ambush hills. But we just go south on those. We don't got to worry about that.
But Alpharius,
We'll go with direction.
Let's just go south.
This is the way we're
until
gonna-
it comes north and then south again.
That's a long way around.
Scenic route.
Go all the way around. Back.
Yeah, Joe, we're
So
on the
let's
other side of
north
the
and
river.
I knew I saw this fort a little while ago. We're going in circles. A big circle.
Casey's probably dead by the time you get back. That's a fucking 3-year journey. To
On
go
the right
around.
side in your bard stories, you can say you traveled the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the same
At
axis.
least one side of it.
Yeah.
Alpharius, he is asking that we keep the betterment of Harald in mind. We keep the greater good in mind. Is all he's asking. He's asking you to make an oath to keep the people of Harald in mind more than my friend. Is all he's asking.
Ask them to sacrifice a woman to evil.
If
If that's what it takes to save other people.
But is Alpharius ready to make another commitment this party may or may not be able to keep?
This woman means a lot to me, and I'm trying my best.
They may not have to keep it.
This
I'm hoping that we can
this
save
is
her.
an easy oath. Always put the words of the many ahead of the few. Pretty straightforward, right?
On paper, sure. But when feelings and such like that get in the way, it gets a little bit more difficult.
And that's why I'll need your all of your help to keep me in line. I can't guarantee I'll be able to restrain my feelings. It is how my magic works. It is the very foundation of who I am. To deny it is to deny me. That's why, if you make this oath, Alpharius, I understand. Because it is important, and that's what we should do. But if it comes down to it, I will do my best to make that choice, or have you knock me out cold.
We don't need to. We just gotta go west.
God, I have to look at the west now.
The west is right.
So you want us to go through the Oak Woods to Oakhart and then to Rivergate?
Simple enough.
You could do it.
Sorry, partner.
Best of luck.
So are we done wasting time at this little fort?
Yes.
We're ready to move on.
Alright.
Maybe save your friend, get lost in these woods.
But one thing, while we're here,
I'm so sick of the woods.
you said Tobias is gone. He's still alive, correct?
Maybe. I don't know. He's gone.
All right, fair Let's head back to town, get our horses, and get ready for this egregious journey.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
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 I don't recommend traveling on horseback. That's
Oh, it looks like Roland's got something going on.
It's a lot,
One second.
it's a lot of hilly terrain, mountains and whatnot.
We're gonna have to leave our horses. We'll sell them. Probably sell them.
Well, if you're not planning on coming back and getting them, yeah, so.
But I don't plan on coming back and getting them once we make that journey.
Is Patty and Bristle with us right now?
Brittle?
Yeah, Brittle.
No, they stayed back there.
Yeah.
And poor Clayton.
Yeah.
Wanted to double check on that one.
And the wolves' heads all get chopped off by this giant warforged.
Brittle's always listening.
Yeah. Always on.
Yeah, you guys do have that sending stuff.
Oh, we do actually. Yeah.
Well, we probably have another tracker on us we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Someone might have to
Get
cast
in there.
detect magic.
No, she's stuck behind.
I search out fire is for a little red blinking light, you know.
The last one didn't blink. That's, not even
That's how they
broken in the
trick
real
you.
world. You know? Like, why would you do that?
That's just a blemish. Stop picking at it.
Oh, yes, the scales are old. Leave me alone.
You really should peel this. You should soak in water or something. Makes it
Now he's
easier.
starting to mull.
Stop touching my lucky scale.
Oh, that's why he's grumpy. His eyes are a little foggy. I think he's getting ready to molt.
Yeah, so we need to go back to town.
Yeah.
You got any more questions for him?
No, he answered mine.
Are you sure this is the right idea? Like, we have wolves that can help us. All we have to do is just say that we're heroes and we'd be able to protect.
You're eyeballing them like you wanted to stab them. And now you want them to guide us through the forest.
Well, yeah, if it's easier, because
I think if we're
I-
not
We
gonna
gotta,
take this-
we gotta,
I just feel like this would be the swiftest way.
I'm not gonna like throw your
I feel like if
Like
we're
under
not
this
going
out
to take
there.
his help, we should just take the roads. Why make it hard? If we're going to make it hard, why make it extra hard? Let's just take the roads.
We want to be incognito.
I don't. I have no interest in hiding.
We could get a covered wagon and say we're on that pilgrimage you keep talking about.
Throw everyone else in the back and throw people up in the front.
Just saying, trip through the forest ain't gonna be that hard.
We could make it eventually.
Famous last words.
Just thinking that.
So I'm not afraid of hiding.
Yeah.
This western trail.
What time of day is it?
Right now, it's like late evening.
Look,
The sun's starting to go down.
look, sun's going down. If we're going to discuss this, me wants to do it over another drink. And not out here where it's damp
Here, here.
and mossy.
You're used to being wanted, right?
Yeah.
How long before these lawmen catch up with us? Think?
Well, I'm very used to just not being around the area that I'm being wanted, so.
Betty said they were.
But I have had to take different routes, but unlike everyone else, I have different options of escaping and traveling through the trees, up on the trees. I just feel like this is a prime opportunity that we are missing right here. Because, yes, dogs and fluffy things like that, it's just hard to trust, but they can guide us. He just reminds me of Elin. And Elin's a druid, right? Like, I feel like the way he does things is very druidic. I just feel like this is a prime. This is just good. It's a good way for us to not be seen, get to the destination faster, find Thaylin's friend swiftly. I say swiftly is bestly.
I agree with Louie. I think we should do it.
Well, Swiftly's on the road.
But if we're not going to take this man's help, then we should take
It's a
the
great
roads.
stop.
Well, if there's
Yeah.
one thing, and I'm pretty sure Hargraves can agree with me, dogs have good nose. The nose knows. I followed dire wolves back in Chulash, and they help me find good things before I stab them.
Well, Doc,
No offense.
Well, I point to the sun and I say, well, that thing rises in the east and it sets in the west. So if we walk away from it, unlike the map, it rises in the south and it sets in the west.
The South shall rise again.
oh no!
So if we walk away from it in the morning and we walk toward it in the evening, we'll get there. And I believe,
Bad joke.
out of everything that we've done, I think a stroll through the forest, a nice hike, won't be that bad.
Completely. How long is this walk? This stroll?
Miles.
We'll find
Um,
out.
It'll take a long time. Maybe a week.
I don't think a week is enough.
My map is hand drawn, and I think the scale is terrible, but it's a long way.
I feel attacked.
No, I'm saying
The compass
Yeah.
seems to be off.
You don't have a scale on
Yeah.
you, so it's hard to say.
Attack him! Attack
If
him!
we were to go through the woods, I'll just ask the ranger. Fuck it. If we were to go through the woods by ourselves, how long do you think it would be till we reach River Gate?
Assuming that everything goes well
Yes.
for you. 3 days.
3 days.
That's not bad.
3 days.
That's
great.
a stroll.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
It's a stroll.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's great.
I spent longer in the Underdark. This is no problem. Upper Dark.
I've been. Alright. Confession time. I've been traveling and living rough for a while, but I've always stayed on the roads.
Perfect. It's a great learning experience
I will
for
be
you.
useless out there.
Learning experience.
I've
you can
always
grow
been in the
and become
jungles.
better.
The roads on horseback is shortened. It's probably a day or so to hit River Gate.
Just. Why not? If we're
Well, what
not
if
going
we-
to take his help, let's just get on the road and go.
But what if we get ambushed? What if we get attacked? What if we get thrown in jail? What if we go the opposite
We're
direction?
not going to
So-
do any of those things. We're
so-
going to ride our horses until we get there.
The road says jail time. The forest say ambush hills. So I'm torn between either.
There will be no jail time for us. Not in this part of the world.
Alright.
Fine.
This
So,
has to be a vote.
the vote.
Vote.
Vote to
Third of all,
settle
what
it.
makes you think I won't kill you with the black dragon?
Well, we're going to take
We're not talking
At
about
least I go out in blaze of glory.
Now you guys are like, that's fucked up.
There's not a lot to talk about.
There are worse
Black
ways
dragon.
to die.
Yeah.
Turning into a dragon. I feel like is a cool way to go as a D&D character.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to feel that way when it happens.
I keep my expectations high because when it happens, I'm going to be broken and crying. So
He's
We're
gonna-
voting. We're voting. I'm looking at everybody. We're voting, and nobody vote present.
Isn't that like
Do we
the
need a simple
peasants?
majority?
Do we ever get a simple majority?
Take the roads.
Show of hands for the roads.
Wait, are we voting? What are we voting on? Roads or forest? Or are we voting on doing this or help?
We are voting on.
all three.
3
Because Lumi keeps pieing here for help.
So it's either help or we go, or we.
We can't vote for how far it is to take a vote or
No.
take
take a
an
vow.
oath with his god that might violate his vows.
Okay, he asked for a vote. That's what we're doing.
You
We're
also
voting.
didn't ask, though, either. If it would.
What's the vote on? Just tell me what I'm voting on.
Whether we take this man's help and Alfarius
Wrong.
offers.
Wrong.
Sorry. On his word as a paladin, that we honor her all as the greater good that needs to be protected above all.
No, that's a bit fucked up if 5 of us vote against Alfarius and strong-arm him into making a note that he doesn't want to make.
Then why are we voting?
Oh,
You're
no,
the one
we're-
that put that
Because
option
we
in
need
there.
I
to
think you're
vote.
confused because we're voting on whether or not we're going to take a stroll through the forest or we're going to haul ass up the road.
Yeah, that's what I thought the vote
Oh.
was.
Yeah.
The vote is.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what the vote is.
Yeah.
I ain't making no oaths to some fucking ranger.
It's not to the Rangers, to your god.
Yeah.
On behalf of the
Oh,
Ranger.
yeah, sure. That's fucking sounds like a fucking some sort of clause in your fucking ranger clause.
Where's the fine print?
Yeah, where's the fine print in that?
I don't think
Ranger
making.
clause.
Yeah.
Yeah, made here in your
It's not a deal with the devil.
made here in your secret language in your fancy grove
Devils are honest.
that you don't let anybody in.
You should
Night,
go
Kima.
watch the fine print.
I know.
Alright.
Mickey Mouse.
How dare you leave me?
It's gonna be a big vote. You should stick around.
We hyped you up. How dare you?
Yeah, don't you love legislation? Yeah.
So, road or forest?
Hands for the road.
Fuck off. I'm so sick of sleeping in the dirt.
I don't go into the
Just a little dirt,
forest
never hurt nobody.
without some assistance. Like,
Let's take the road, Lumi.
Looks like
It will be
Lumi's
so
looking-
comfortable. We can just ride to the next town and sleep in a bed.
you're
and then ride to the
noticeable,
next town.
you're noticeable, you're noticeable, you can
That's
kind of
why
be
I'm going to the
noticeable,
woods.
We can do
I'm
no-
noticeable, he's noticeable.
We can do nothing to stop being noticeable, and we're going to be noticeable
Except
when
not
we get to
getting
our
noticed.
destination.
by going through the woods.
We're going to be spending days in this place. They
Sir.
will hear about us, no
Sir.
matter what.
Sir, Ranger Man,
Ranger
what
man.
can I do to convince you to
All
help
right,
us
Take me to the land.
other than the Dragonborn?
Sorry.
I only have one person I look to, which is the Cat Lord. The almighty Cat Lord.
What happened?
You seem like a fine gentleman. I want to hunt vampires because I want information from them, because I think it would be a great thing to do. To definitely help out. As Theolin said, we have been heroes in the past. We have done good deeds, bad deeds, a fair share of equals. I think if you come with us, good things will happen.
Make a persuasion check.
Zero persuasion, but that's a 17.
Not bad.
Not too
I will
shabby.
give you my claw. A lot of people, Ellen tried stealing my claw. Maybe it'll work for you. A lot of people like money for
I'm
my
not
claw.
buying that just as a person.
Well, tabaxi claws, apparently.
You're ripping out your claws?
Oh my god.
You're
Like,
declawing
you're
yourself?
declawing yourself more now? I feel like you're crazy.
Like, I can give you my
Hardcore.
fur.
It's self-mutilation here. Calm down.
I can help you
Calm
hunt.
down.
I can tell you the stories of the tabaxis of my kind in Chulesh.
What did you roll again? 17?
17.
He believes you can do all those things.
I'm asking for help. I'm being a good cat and I'm asking for help. Because I feel like in this situation we're at, to help my friend Theolin get his girlfriend, we should do this.
Sister.
Sister girlfriend.
That's an uncomfortable kiss you had with your sister.
Ooh. Mm.
Well, we don't know that.
Very southern. Never mind.
They do it different.
In Leor.
You regionist.
Of course. It's like the Roman Empire. It's great.
So progressive.
Not at all. The Romans actually, incest was taboo, and they thought that they would be punished by the gods for it.
Except the gods were doing it all the time.
Gods aren't men.
Yeah, gods are people.
I start going into my pockets and start throwing things out,
It's
like
a common,
which
it's a common misconception.
Which
which stones, salts, and all that.
Prozac, thank you for the sub.
I'm glad I know what's in your pocket.
Didn't he just resub? Didn't he just resub?
Subscribe to Tier 1?
This is great.
Thank you so much, Prozac. We appreciate it, man. We love you. Welcome to the family, to the community. Again, even though you've been a part of it for a while,
Yeah,
but
it's been a part.
just let me go through the spiel and just say that we appreciate you. I appreciate your face so much.
You winner.
You're probably super handsome. I'm gonna ignore Alex because I don't want to put him in a position where he has to tell me the truth.
You can tell me.
The fact that he's not jumping right up, Prozac, to say, "Oh no, he's a real handsome guy. He's cool, man. You guys should get to know him. Should be worrisome to you, Prozac."
He's trying to be
His
cute.
personality is
You didn't say ask
beautiful.
me, he's cool. He's
No,
cool.
you should just jump to his defense. Shows you what kind of friend he is.
An honest one.
Oh, no.
Apparently.
Oh.
Says it all, Prozac. Says it all.
No, he's not bad looking, but I'm not gonna say he's like.
See, Oak Tree agrees. That look said it all.
But he is super cool. He's a dead shot.
That doesn't say anything about his looks. You keep
I'm not talking about
deflecting
his looks.
over to...
So this god of yours, does he hold you accountable?
He's the one that showed me out of the jungles to this adventure.
That's not an answer.
Yes.
To your word?
Yes. Do you believe in the Cat Lord?
No.
Well, you should.
This is the first I've heard.
He's a great person. He, she, it. Great.
Sounds made up.
It is not.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You can ask any of my kin. There are many
I've met
stories.
Tabaxi.
Have you ever
There-
asked them about the
There
Cat
are
Lord?
2 in the Ranger Conclave.
There are others.
I just want to say that I think it's really
That's-
funny that your character is surprised that there are other Tabaxi.
You,
Like
you
in
just
the world.
spawned.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what? There's more than one?
Thought I was unique.
Sounds like
That
a
was
cat
funny.
thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a cat thing. I'm the only cat in the world. I'm the one who matters.
That's why your claws are so rare.
So, he turns away and he begins speaking with the wolf.
Good night, Great Paladin. Love you.
Bye, buddy.
How dare you abandon me too?
Bye.
Gotta go
Bye.
see.
Good luck pinning that black dragon.
Ah!
You think I'm stupid?
You think I'm stupid? You keep talking about this black dragon over there, man.
There's a lot of other colors other than black.
Oh no, it's Tiamat.
The rainbow. It tastes you.
That's good.
No clap, because it's going to kill me.
Tiamat rises from the abyss. Oh, I guess that's it then.
It's been fun, guys.
5 legendary saves.
I worship that. We should worship that.
The quick thinking Dragonborn is going to be the one who goes, look, I brought you slaves. Real quick.
She'll love it. Break those paladins.
Yeah.
God, she'd be super into it.
She would. Tiamat would be so into it.
Yeah.
Taylor, you're great and all, but you're not here.
Like you say that, just all heads just. You're like, oh fuck.
I don't get divine intervention, but I think it's real.
By the way, fine then. I'll take you through the woods.
I'll tell you many stories about the Cat Lord on our adventure.
Kiss your horse back.
No, you
Aren't you at least a little bit interested?
don't. No.
Cat Lord is mighty fine.
I'm interested in you being quiet and going and doing what I tell you to do so that we go undetected.
Ooh, sneaky.
Yes,
I'm okay
boss.
with that. Everyone else okay with that?
I don't think I have a choice.
We can be sneaky.
You wrote it on the first vote.
Yeah.
Now it's just cemented.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before we continue, that was so great when it was just roads. And it was just like,
That's the most concise vote I've ever seen you guys do.
That's what I was saying. I was like, is there ever...
Relative speed and safety? No, fuck that. Danger.
Fuck all of you.
I'm in danger, and I
Sounds
love
like
it.
fucking Riken is rolling in his grave.
Ranger man.
Alright, I guess we'll travel through the woods then.
But before adventure,
No.
Can we get really drunk?
my name is not Fluffy. My name is Luminous Tear.
I wonder if you guessed that.
What is your name?
I was saying Lumi. Is
My name is Conrad.
that with a K or a C?
C.
Thank you.
It's too far south for a K.
Regionist.
Take your map. It's too far east.
Yeah.
It's too far east. Why does the southern part of your map just say yeehaw?
Maybe it is.
Yeehaw!
Makes it easier to remember which accents to use. Listen, not all dwarves need to be Scottish, but it's easier.
Solid point.
Yeah.
Either way. The wolf growls. He kind of looks over. The wolf wants to know what your animal name is.
Oh, shit.
My mother told me a long time ago, but hold on.
The wolf's name is Runs in Wind.
I look into my notes. Do I have an animal? I'll roll for that.
Catches things.
Looks for shinies.
17.
Your animal name is She Who Looks for Shinies.
Yeah, right.
The shiny catcher.
Pounce by
Poops in box.
17.
Chaser of
No
Blinkies.
This is the
I
first
look-
you've heard of this.
I look at the wolf.
Your worst time.
Go for Blinky.
Does he buy it?
Yeah, I'm trying to convince that's my name.
Or
Is that your name?
Is that a persuasion or animal handling?
That
the
was
rules are
not
so
animal handling.
unclear.
It's a persuasion. Oh, that's a natural 20.
But does it understand?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a natural 20 on ability checks.
Well, I'm
so
just
what'd
saying.
you roll?
20.
What's your
Yeah, what's your
modifier?
total?
0.
Okay.
So a flat 20?
Flat 20.
Okay. No, he doesn't buy it.
Oh.
He,
Wolves are smart.
Conrad, the wolf once again kind of shifts his eyes and kind of growls a bit. And he looks to you and says, Runs and Wind believes that you need to spend more time learning and understanding your true heritage and the state of your people. And then you can find your animal name.
I'll have to ask my parents about more information. You can tell them thank you for Runs or Win.
The wolf just kind of turns and darts off towards the woods.
With that comment, I kind of feel a little offended, so I kind of go on my fours and just start walking.
Okay. So you guys watch Looney's just like
Looming traffic
making
two
a point now
worlds.
to be exact. You know what I mean?
We've been traveling too well together, but is she insane?
You just see Theolin.
Okay.
Behind her back, it's just like. Just like what I did to him, man.
During the whole time, you just hear
Well, no.
Lumi talking to herself like,
Oh.
Mom would have told me this kind of
Yeah,
crap."
she is insane.
Oh, this is the first time you've ever heard of this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Mom would have told me this kind of crap.
Conversation.
So, he's gonna take you. So, what do you guys want to do? You gonna go back and get your horses and stuff?
Yeah. Well, if he's taking us, do we get horses?
Horse.
Yeah.
We can
You
walk
get
the horses through.
You were
You
saying.
can walk the horses.
Oh.
He said, "I'll suggest you ride the horses.
Oh, I'm not. I've never rode in a horse. That
Riding
makes sense.
horses is way louder than walking."
Pack. You use them as like pack animals.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That climbed.
She's changing already.
Or bait for
Back
the
in her
dragon.
natural state.
What was that?
Yes, we're gonna go back and get our horses and whatever stuff we may have
Yeah.
Do
left.
you wish to leave
Okay.
tonight, or do you wish to leave?
He kind of looks up at the sky. We should leave within a day. It would be best. Early in the mornings when most of the goblins return to their burrows.
So should we leave tomorrow morning then? At first light?
Maybe earlier than that if we can.
Go home, take a little power nap, come back, and leave?
We should go back, get our stuff, and come back out here. Make a small base camp.
Leave tonight, I agree.
We'll leave real early tomorrow morning from out here.
Works for me.
Who's gonna update the gnome?
Patty?
Well, she's back in town, right?
Yeah, she's back in town.
She's from town, I suppose.
Sure she would want to come?
Yeah, just
No, let it know.
wondering, making sure we're going to update her.
Of course.
I'm
Yeah.
sure she would want to come.
I'm sure she's smart enough to take the roads.
You No boss.
Or doesn't mind either way because she's a caster and she has a fucking warforged.
Warforged goes where Warforged pleases.
Yeah.
Also, as far as we know, she's not wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she is. All I saw
maybe
was
it's better.
fire and robot.
Yeah, maybe it's better she doesn't come with all this.
Listen, the
force
robot
fires.
probably killed everybody who saw it. Just saying.
That's
Then no one knows we escaped.
Yeah.
No one knows we were captured.
Yeah,
We're all
How do
dead.
you be like, this isn't the warforged you're looking for?
yeah.
Yes, it is.
The word. Yeah, it just reminds me of those robot movies and where the robot doesn't know what death is. And it's like, repair? What is death?
Horrible.
She's like robot chicken and Anakin's pretending that they're flowers he's chopping up.
Oh, that's so...
Into the meta.
Oh,
Great.
Anyway, but yes, we'll break the news, dude.
Why do you cry, human?
Well, let's go back.
So, back, go get your stuff, hook up with Patty and Brutal.
We're just gonna talk them.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know where you went, but that's gross.
Hook up. See what happens.
Some gnome has a fantasy about it somewhere.
I didn't assume it was the gnome you were after. That's why I said it's gross. Sick fuck.
Patty, Amber.
I am so confused.
Wait, what?
It's a gnome's fantasy somewhere. Go on.
These glass have weird fantasy.
Yeah, apparently.
I hear they come with attachments.
oh dear.
Wait, so
What?
Conrad, I'll wait here for you then. I'm already camped nearby. I'll keep an eye out and do some advanced scouting in the area and see which goblin tribes are active in hunting.
Do you want me to come with?
No.
Okay.
Lumi's plane.
So fat.
Andy.
I have the wolves. There's no need of you.
Oh.
Real animals.
Yeah, they have animal names. Come on.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
2 hands.
Don't let him twist it. Oh, he's twisting.
So you guys heading out then?
Here we are.
Yes.
So you head back following the same path that you came here, going over the same hills and out of the grove, leaving the Bay Gate behind you. And after a few hours of travel, upon basically at dark setting in, you can see the town and the lanterns and the smoke coming from the chimneys and on the other side of the walls, that slight glow from everything there. And you you come back into the gate, and town, nothing unusual seems to happen since you were out. Everything seems in place where it should be. There's a few people walking the streets and a couple of guards at the gate, but they've seen you before, so they don't bother you on your way in. They just kind of nod in approval as you go back into
Give him a sup.
Give them sup. And you head back to the inn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you all kept the horses, right? Was it
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stables.
We roped him off.
the inn? Alrighty then.
Well, shit. Hey, Lumi. Hey, keep an eye out for, you probably be able to pick them out better than us. Patty said the guards were going to be in plain clothes. People looking for us.
She also. Sorry. Go ahead.
No.
What?
It was a conversation. You're allowed to speak.
Kind
Oh, wow.
of just cut you off there, but okay.
No, it's fine. It's a natural. it's a natural conversation.
She also mentioned they're probably a day behind, so probably want to head out tomorrow morning, like when he said.
Yeah, but if they had any Vanguard riders, they'd be getting here tonight. That's kind of the whole reason I want to go back out in the woods tonight. Camp out there.
No, seems smart.
Hey, Lord Ankron. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad you could show up. Welcome. Chill. Hang out for a bit. Shenanigans are like...
Shenanigans. Does the party get their stuff and get out?
Yeah.
Or does the town militia find them first? But wait, there's the knuckleheads. We need to get the fuck out of here.
With a name like that.
This sounds a trap. This sounds a fucking trap.
This is some grade A Bologna.
It's one big trap.
There's a port down the road, and like we never met that guy, so he don't give a fuck about us.
All right, so you walk down the streets to the inn. You nod at a few individuals, past a couple of people who are unpleasant, just in general conversation, nothing particularly strange or out of the ordinary. And you approach the inn, which actually seems fairly packed and lively tonight. You see Benson behind the bar, serving as usual. And as you head to your rooms, you hear him having exchanges with Mildred in the back and just doing their normal thing. And I believe you paid in advance, so you don't have anything to settle up on when it comes to the bill or the tab.
I do.
Do you?
He does.
I think
Yeah.
you paid.
No, he tried to pawn it off on me.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I have a line of credit. I didn't have a total for it, but it was for some food and beer. So
Well, I mean, that's fine. What I want to know is, are you skipping out on it or are you paying it?
You're outlaws, man.
Yeah.
Are we now?
This campaign has changed directions like real fast.
yeah, no, I'm gonna.
You're not heroes on the run, like, wrongly blamed and trying to be extorted and taken to some crime syndicate. Now you're just outlaws. All right.
So
We're
skip
the
the dinner
outlaw.
Let me just go rewrite some stuff real quick.
I'm just gonna pay up with like 2 gold.
Hi, Alferis, we'll be the outlaws.
Sure, okay.
We'll be Terrowyn's
That's
riders.
Sounds good.
So it's a little more lively tonight, you said?
Yeah. There's a few more denizens, and all the tables are full. It looks like it's mainly just standing room only left in the main, and what would that be, the,
Foyer.
no, the common room.
God, no.
The common room.
Okay, is the-
That doesn't look like they have any musical entertainment or anything, but everybody seems to be having a good time.
Ballroom.
Okay, so
Not a ballroom.
what's the name of the
You're not attending a gala. This is a rundown inn. with
Benson.
painted windows.
Benson?
Benson.
Life is
Benson
what
is
you
the
make it.
owner.
So while they're where I go over to Benson, pretty crowded tonight, huh?
Yeah, it's a good night tonight.
New faces or are these
No new faces. All these people from around here.
Oh, good. Any new
These
faces
all locals?
at all today?
No, not that I've been made aware. You're the newest faces in town.
That's
You're
good.
the talk of town for the most part.
Ooh.
Nobody mentioned anybody riding in today.
People mention you going out to the mine. I think some of the workers are in here, and you look around, you recognize some of the dwarfs from the mine.
Good. That's good.
Why, is there somebody I should be looking out for?
Oh,
Somebody you don't want following you?
yeah, some fellows from Fallman. If you happen to,
From Ballman, that's a long way to ride.
that's where we came from. If they do pass this way, and I slide like 2 platinum on the thing, send them the wrong way. We're headed north.
So Benson just kind of looks around, uses the washcloth,
Cloth.
grabs the coins, and then takes them in his hand and throws them back to you. It's no problem.
All right. Well, thank you. So yeah,
You guys paid up. You paid up all your tabs, and you were good here. You didn't destroy anything. I could be right by you on this solid.
Thank you. Well, so we were headed north.
How about a little disinformation?
Yeah, we're going north to the river. Gonna take the river down to what is it, Rivergate?
Yeah, Rivergate.
Wow.
Between 7 goes right down there to the coast. Empties out in the cove.
That's where we're headed.
That is where we're going.
Our bard
Yeah.
was shouting it loudly, drunkenly.
I'm sure.
Wait, that's where we're
That's where
actually.
you
Kinda-
We're
kinda
actually-
goes out.
Well, we
Hey.
are, but
Hey, everybody. You all heard that these folks are heading north, right? Sherford Way. Go get a barge down the river. And a bunch of them look around and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. He's like, listen, David, you owe me money, so this is a solid. He's just like, okay.
David.
Yeah, David.
poor David.
God, you.
Thank you, Benson.
Sure, no problem. So you all heading out tonight then? You look like you're all packing up and getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So,
Well, all right then. Best of luck. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah, we're gonna go find some trouble before trouble finds us. No, it goes walking by with my big oversized backpack. Because I'm a Goliath.
Yeah, because everything's bigger.
So
You just use him as the pack mule. Why do you need horses? You can just let him carry the camp.
He's got the
whole camp.
Oh my goodness,
He's big, strong man.
I am strong, but I'm
Save the
not
horses.
Bro, do you even lift, bro?
So in contrast to that, I have a tiny little bag because I rarely leave the roads.
Yeah, a little fanny pack going on.
I can't within sight of roads.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Is this some sort of comparison thing?
No, I think Ryken killed a horse dad. Now he's just beating it.
Terrible.
It's a thing.
So anti-horse.
Fucking horse.
Listen,
Uh-huh.
I said sorry.
How many times we're gonna go over this?
That's some toddler crap. Sorry doesn't make everything okay.
It makes that okay.
Did you at least kiss it better?
Well,
Alright, so
it would've
you guys
tasted
gathered your
fine.
belongings. Were you were you guys planning on staying the night in the inn?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna go camp out kind of at the grove, so we're there and ready when he's wants to leave.
Yeah, he's already there. So
Guys,
Well,
we,
so we're there and ready. Yeah.
we should sneak from the outside of our room so people think we're staying the night.
You have a cloaking made.
that's alright. Some other lucky bastard will get it.
Some big bastard. Damn.
Yeah.
Us
Blanket.
Us Dragonborn kind of order stuff in advance sometimes. Next Dragonborn that comes through may need it.
Assuming he worships Taylor.
Just like how this armor worked out.
Yeah. That's a good point.
As we move forward, just remember to ask if other Dragonborns have ordered anything and left it there for you.
That's just gonna.
You
be
could
a
leave them a forwarding address if you wanted to. Like, they can deliver packages.
to our fort. We
To my
own
house.
a fort.
To my house.
It's under construction.
I mean,
It can receive.
yeah, that would be expensive, but what I more meant is, like, if you're going to be planning on being in Rivergate for any amount of time, you can have it sent
Oh,
there.
that's smart. What the metal?
Like, it's slow, and, I mean, they charge per the mile for it to be taken, but
Like a
like, you
U-Haul.
could.
the U-Haul, but with
I'm pretty sure the rate for standard delivery is like 1 copper a mile. So,
Oh,
that's
gosh.
nothing.
I mean,
Totally.
at the rate we go through towns and whatnot, like we average a day.
Yeah, it'll probably be there as long as we are.
A day?
It'll take us 3 to get there. It might beat us there.
We average a day.
So I'll take the road.
It'll probably beat us there.
Go up to the bartender and be like, yo, you know where we're going, so I have this thing, here's some money, you can send a boy to let him know where to send it. So.
Send a
No,
boy.
that's fine. Save it for the next Dragonborn.
okay. I just wanted to present the option is all, in case you want to wear. Mail does exist.
No, I wouldn't want to send something somewhere where we don't want people to know we're going.
Something, somewhere, someday.
No interest in hiding.
God damn it.
Alright. So you gather all your belongings, pack up on the horses, and you head out of town. You ride them up the road just a ways, enough to get to the point where you came out of the forest that you recognize. And then you dismount and begin leading them through the woods. Who's
Marching
leading?
order type thing?
Yeah, sort of thing. Who's leading?
It's either me or you. Cat person?
Me.
Okay. Are you walking on all fours? Getting in tune?
Yeah, she hasn't got off all fours this whole night.
That must have looked awkward at the end.
Yeah.
Are you guys leading? Yeah!
From down
So-
the
Yeah.
talk up to me.
Alright, so you'll be in front. I'll be in back.
I'll be middle.
These will be our Oreo.
At least she has a long tail that can be seen. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be a dwarf. No one sees you.
Oh.
5 foot nothing.
Dancing lights on her tail.
So, through the night, give me a perception check.
Oh, you can.
Because I don't know where the passive scores went.
Whoa!
That's a 10.
She's,
Flat 10?
No, I rolled a 2 plus an 8.
Okay.
she's very in tune with her cat form.
It's all high grass.
So,
Oh yeah, look at numbers.
after about,
Nice.
I don't know, like an hour or so of travel, heading back to the Fey Gate, there's a passerby, something overhead kind of flies over, and kind of spooks you for a moment. The canopy and the trees is too dense for you to see. Plus, with all the rocky outcroppings and the deep like nature of the hills that you're in, and the kind of ravine that you're following, you don't really you don't catch a glimpse of it at all. It happens so fast, and you hear the wings, and then it's gone.
Did anyone hear that?
It's on cooldown for 5 minutes.
No? Okay, I must be dreaming.
Did any of us hear it?
No, that's why she made the perception check.
What's the hold up?
What are you talking about?
Move it.
I heard something like wings. But
The
I think it
wings.
might have just been a fly.
Don't be worried, that's a really big fly.
Whoa! Like, how big of a fly we're talking here? Because you heard it.
Yeah.
Most you know when flies go past your ear, they
Yeah, that makes a not a that you said you heard.
I didn't say a specific wing. I said a fly wing.
All right.
It's
I don't
awesome. It's a giant fly.
Dire fly.
DM starts making stats.
All I see is the fly from Bug's Life. Just
I was thinking more the fly.
So,
You heard a mosquito.
barring that, nothing exceptional happens, and you arrive back at the Fey Gate, where you make camp and you settle in for the night. You do notice, after setting up camp, that eventually the wolves kind of come back and they start meandering around the outside and around the kind of gate nearby. All in all, there's about 12 to 13. About 4 of them looking like they're the size of dire wolves and such. The rest seem like normal wolves. And then the ranger comes back and begins to kind of make camp. And he stays away from you guys for the most part. He does stress, to leave like a low impact, like not to like leave any real serious traces. So small fire and try to sleep in bags as opposed to pitching tents and making it obvious that someone was sleeping here.
Find some grass. Spin 4 times. I lay down.
And you lick yourself?
Maybe. A little.
Wow.
Am I dirty? How dirty am
I find a tree.
Apparently pretty dirty, because...
I?
I find a tree because I want to stay a little bit high up.
Okay.
So I can watch over
So you just
everyone.
climb up, get up there, look down at everybody, just doing that
Sleep.
cat thing, just staring, tail flicking.
That's me.
Everybody else?
I take his heat and use my pull out a bedroll from the bag of holding and kind of use it as a pillow against a tree and tuck my hat down.
Okay.
At the mention of a very small fire, I shudder and very reluctantly, wherever I perch myself up, I use light as my light source.
At least he didn't say cold camp.
Right? Well, it's not for warmth, it's for light.
That'd be cool. I wonder if the lights both provides warmth.
I don't
No,
think
it
it does.
I'm just curious.
It's not cold anyways. I was just saying. Cold camp is like no fire.
I use find familiar and summon my familiar as an owl.
Ooh.
So you spend, an hour ritual casting it?
Yeah.
To change it? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so the owl, you cast the spell, and there's that small burst of flame, and almost like this kind of splash of strange, like almost like this sound of almost like what are they called? What are those things called? The little things you used to fucking throw on the ground when they pop.
Poppets?
Yeah, they just kind of like there's a small crackle and several light pops, and then an owl just kind of emerges, his wings spread out. This kind of large. What kind of owl? Like a.
He's just like a big barn owl.
Large barn owl?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so there's this large barn owl. And it speaks to you, and it says in a tone, I don't appreciate being left miles away
Wow.
on days on end.
Well, this is a development. Is he like speaking?
Yeah, it's
out
telepathic.
loud?
No, it's telepathic. Yeah. Because you're
Huh.
connected telepathically to your familiar. So you can hear its voice in your head.
I'm sorry. You've never spoken to me before.
Never had a reason to.
Oh, that's fair. Huh.
All the time that we've spent together, you've never left me somewhere and more or less forgotten about me.
It was a difficult situation.
Yes.
Why is Bass
Yes, it
talking
was.
to himself? I'm kidding.
It's telepathic, so you don't see anything. You just see this. You just heard the pop and the crack. It's all this like kind of burst of colors, and then now there's just this owl sitting down there, and your eyes just.
Huh. Well.
A red barn owl. So the Obscuralisk says.
Okay. So. Huh. You never bothered to speak before. I guess I've never put you. Were you in danger there? I'm sorry I abandoned you, but.
No, never been in danger. But you've also never bothered to ask my name before, or communicate with me. It's always go here, do that, look there, watch here.
Well, chalk it up to my education, I suppose. Some habits are hard to kick.
Yes,
So-
most tieflings struggle.
What is your name?
My name is. Since I can't get into that on the computer.
You broke it.
Yeah, I broke it. That's weird.
You would be a fiend as well, just from the nature of my learning.
Would it be? Because you say, is it a fiendish?
You
Is
can
that
be
what
a
you
fiend.
chose?
It can be a fiend,
celestial,
or celestial.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm
because-
just curious because it does matter when it comes to like detect spells and stuff like that.
No, he's a fiend.
He's a fiend?
Because that's how I would have learned to do it.
Ooh, little fucking asshole owl.
Well, maybe.
My name is Legion.
We are many. Except one fiend, that's all the fiend familiars.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't actually.
Just
write
different
that. I didn't write
aspects.
that.
That'd be a really powerful.
I didn't write that down.
I'm the eater of children.
It's a little mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dark as fuck.
That is dark.
Bonwa.
French.
Bonwa.
Oh, Valois.
Bonwa.
Bamwado.
Sorry.
So it'd be VANOATH.
Red Barno.
VANATH.
Vana.
Vanna.
Okay.
Banner.
Vaughn.
Vana.
Alright, Vaughn then. Well, I guess nice to meet you then.
Likewise.
We've been working together a while, unless it's a different spirit.
No. The same.
Okay. So, this changes our dynamic. I was always told that you're barely sentient.
No, we're spirits. People in Zamir just choose to believe that we're not.
Well, I've been hearing it my whole life. No one ever told me otherwise.
also could be that their servants just chose not to speak with them. You're familiar with how Zamir is.
I am very familiar. Well, do you have a preferred form?
I prefer living on the plane I'm from, but since I'm here and bound to your service, it is what it is.
Okay,
I shall take whatever form it is that you command me to.
okay then. Well then, let's make this the beginning of our new relationship together, whatever it means. I would ask you to please watch over us tonight, the dire wolves and the ranger, but somewhere up high.
Just tilts his head and looks around the sky and looks up. It's like let's see, it was like 3 days ago, so it's getting closer to. There's barely any moon. It's like a sliver. It's working towards a new moon.
Just keep a watch.
All right then, I will.
All right. Good. Good.
So it just flaps and takes off up into the sky.
So I'm watching him, and then I look to the rest of the group. No, maybe. I would kind of wave you over. Yeah, you.
Shoot with the face.
Put my hat back on, I pick up my guttural, and I walk over.
Have you ever summoned familiars? Do you know anything about it?
A little bit. I've seen my master do it. Unfortunately, I've never personally cast the spell.
Alright, no, that's it.
Alright. Is that it?
Kind of. Did you know they were sentient?
The one my master interacted with was yes.
Huh. Well, alright then.
Magic's weird.
It is. You know, I always had the impression that I was well educated in magic, but now I think maybe I only got a very narrow angle on the whole thing, which might explain my lack of. I don't think the way I was taught suits me like it should.
Magic has so many different avenues and benches. Wizards learn off of a book and study, and no more than I will ever lose. I cast off my emotions. I use my emotions to help me bend the wind, to do things. I can imagine that magic has so many different avenues and benches that it's mind-boggling.
You know, I've always been curious about why I could comprehend magic so well and then never be able to draw on it, but I think maybe I have an idea. I'll have to look into it.
Good luck in that. Do you have any help? I probably can't, but I can give it a shot. I know a little bit. I wasn't trained. I was taught. I was taught the actions of magic, never the book sense.
We had a different upbringing. Well, I was just curious what you knew about it. That's all. We don't come from different schools, so I don't know how much we'll be able to help each other. Can you write your spells like that? I reach down into my bag and pull out my spell book, which is just, it's pretty simple. It's like a dark black leather and iron bindings. I kind of whisper something in Infernal and kind of wave my hand, and the lock unlock latches. Should I show you a page?
Can bards write their spells down if they need to?
They can make scrolls.
Then that's yeah. I can write down my spells. It's the idea that my spells require different or some extra components.
It more or less just it more or less just means that you're writing down what would be the right way of doing it. It's almost like for bards, the spell it'd be more like writing sheet music than it would be using the mechanics of like the spells and the components as they're used in like wizards training.
Is it
And
almost
the same
like
thing, sorcerers is more of a It's more of like a
Am I like dictating the emotions?
more or less
So I
imprinting them more or less. The
Imprinting.
feeling and the flow of the spell and that the nature of how it lays on it is different because wizards almost bend, force the weave to do what it's doing. Bards more and sorcerers more encourage and shape and more work with it. So it's more of a, I wouldn't say more natural, but it's different. It flows differently.
Yeah.
For bards.
Not the same. You write all the mechanics down. I tell people how to feel. For instance, you've seen me cast it before when I tell people their fears, and I don't know if you've seen it, the skulls that appear around them. They're different for everybody. Everyone sees something different. It calls upon the fear. So you must draw upon a fear of yourself. The greatest fear, you will it, and almost ask the weave itself to push through and use this fear as a weapon. And then it targets what it deems my target, and it uses its fear against it. So every single creature sees something different when I target them with this spell. They hear different words or voices depending on their own irrational fears.
Yeah. Not how we do it.
Very different. There are certain things I know I've learned. I can, through training, eventually, possibly cast a wizard spell. And there's even some spells I have that wizards learn as well, and I did learn them somewhat similarly to a wizard. But I still...
Are you all listening to this, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This conversation?
Mhm.
Because you guys are camped in kind of a small area. So,
There is certain
Just
aspects that,
Unless you're whispering.
no,
yeah.
I do facilitate certain... As wizards, you go through, it tells you how to pull, push, and manipulate the weave to your will. I will, in those moments, I simply ask it to bend. You wizards have far more strength.
Oh, I'm no wizard.
I'm not.
I wish I was.
I'm content.
Born with talent. Never could pull it. Push it. I don't know why. But the owl looks familiar. I didn't even bother naming it. But it spoke to me tonight. I didn't know they did that.
Well, we learn from all the things around us. So all this is a growing experience for you. Now you know its name.
I'm just saying I think that has a lot to do with why I can't manipulate the weave like I should with the amount of training I had.
Are you just not asking the right questions?
I think my will is pushing the wrong way for who I am, right? You say it's emotional?
I believe it can be. I feel that even a wizard has emotions. I feel like a wizard who is angry and furious, his fireball might be stronger than it was a couple days ago he used it before. The fire rage is a little bit more harder and aggressive. I believe that emotions are very tied to magic.
Well, what I'm thinking is that the specific mechanics of how Zamir teaches is draw on the powers of the other planes as much as possible. Speak our spells in Infernal, write them in Infernal.
Maybe that is not the way you should be doing magic.
Just an open question.
In character or
In relation to my character.
okay?
So, let me double check to make sure I have this right and I'm not misremembering. My Hunter's Bane helps me hunt fiends, and as a blood hunter, I would have had training to utilize that feature and stuff. So, do I know much about? Because I've done research, right? And they teach us to hone our minds. Do I know much about demonic magic? I know a little bit about rituals, but anything specifically related to demonology and demonic magics?
Well, demons are
or devil magics or fiendish magic, I should say.
well, it's one or the other because they're both classified as fiends.
Yeah.
Demons are very different than devils. So which one?
Tieflings
Infernal is devils.
are devils. So devil magic. Devil magics.
Like how magic
Fiendish.
works for devils, or
Yeah, like if I know anything about like their rituals versus like more traditional, just like magic.
I mean, as far as you're aware, devils do it naturally, so they're like sorcerers. They don't necessarily write down powerful spells and rituals and things that they do, but most of the work that they do is through contracts and through the binding of those people to their contracts and to them or to that way. So magic is devils.
It's more of an innate ability.
Innate. They kind of just do. They're not bound to the same rules of.
Kind of like sorcerers with different ancestries. It's a similar.
Yeah, they're not devils and demons. Their magic surpasses the material components for anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just whatever they're capable of doing, they're capable of doing it.
Okay.
So lesser devils are capable of the most lesser devils like lemurs and stuff are capable of doing nothing other than basically just existing.
Mm-hmm.
But magic gets pretty powerful as you start to get through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like your archdevils are more or less capable of casting any spell that they want to at will.
Yeah.
They still are limited in the amount of power that it takes out of them. Like they don't have an infinite supply of magic. It still wears on their mental capacities and their physical ability to manage the spells. But
Okay.
Yeah, they do it innately. There are ritualized spells and stuff, but most of it is attached to like contracts and stuff like that. So there's a perfect, so
I think I get it.
Celestial kind of works the same way too.
All right.
Angels just do. They don't necessarily have to.
So trying to rest, I roll over,
Which actually is directly relates to tieflings, because all tieflings, like elves, kind of have a natural
capability
to like learn magic and like.
Yeah, I would also because I would imagine if you're studying the fiends, tieflings and their nature would come up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, is nobody knows where tieflings came from.
Okay, so that's more of a mystery.
It's mystified in multiple rumors and ideas. Some say it's from Azrael manipulating the people. Some people say it's from infernal contracts made in bloodlines, and some say it's a curse.
Okay. Hasn't really been nailed down.
No, nobody knows for sure, because most tieflings don't know, and a lot of tieflings get killed when they're born.
Understandably.
Outside of Zamir.
But
because if a parent can get rid of one discreetly, they will.
Yeah, it would be a very shameful thing and scary. Implies a lot. Yeah. So I roll over in my little grass bed. It's probably a matter of your nature. I wouldn't get too worried about it.
That's the thing. It's a matter of my nature.
But also, this is what I was getting at. Demons are very different. Demons themselves are the substance of chaos and the incarnation of more or less evil forces and negative energies. So they themselves, unlike devils, which are purposely kind of created through the pacts made with the
Higher devils?
not the higher devils, through the tablets of providence and the connection to Beator as a realm. It's different. They're shaped purposely to Azrael's will, and they're promoted, so they were people.
Yeah, there's a lot
Demons
of intent
just
behind it.
are.
Yeah.
They just come from nowhere. So it's very different.
Okay.
What they're made up of and where their magical powers come from.
Mm.
Devils are still bound to the laws of the weave, while demons can kind of do what they want to a degree. It's strange.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is what makes demons particularly dangerous.
It's a force of your nature. And I imagine it's from your schooling, which, why not fall in line with what you're naturally inclined for?
That's just it. I tried hard for years.
Here, I may have something that might help you. On our adventures, I came across this as I reach in and I pull out the wizard spellbook I have. And I go, take this. And I toss it. That is a book of another wizard, someone who studied non-infernal magic. See how that tastes.
I believe I looked at this earlier.
Now try to learn it.
my identification spell didn't really take on it.
Try to open it up.
That's late, but thank you.
See if you can learn anything from that.
I would always eager to learn.
Maybe see if his spells are a little bit more in line with what you may cast.
Maybe.
Maybe you're a little weaker on the fiendish front, and so you don't get to rely on natural capability the way people from your lands might. Maybe if you studied a more traditional magic, more traditional wizards' toolings. I don't know. I'm no magician myself, but I understand the concept. What I'm trying to get across here.
Yeah, I understand. I think you're right. That's what I was thinking too. Small change. Suddenly, I'm seeing more clearly, right? An owl talks to me, and now the world is clearer. That's all.
Oh, jeez. Are we going to be up all night talking to each other?
No, I'm going to bed.
Yes, I am as well. I just felt this was a good opportunity to talk about magic. It's always fun. Especially when all I need to do is a little oomph to it, and suddenly it works.
I roll over again.
I head back down and back to sleep.
I'm gonna sleep near you.
Aw, cuddle buddies.
The only same one's here.
You just wrap them up.
Yeah. I'm all warm.
His tail just is like, he's like,
Hey, Charizard, my tail.
No, just don't let it go out.
Who's sleeping in their armor?
Not me. Take that crap off.
I take my armor off.
Armor
Wait,
off.
I'm not even wearing armor. What? Yeah, no, I'm not sleeping in armor because I'm
You're
still
not
wearing.
wearing yours yet.
Yeah, my armor's been off for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm wearing to faint the clothes.
I'm sleeping in my armor.
You wear light though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect you at all.
Whisper over to you, pillow top.
Oh.
What? You sleeping in your armor?
No.
No.
What are you wearing? Medium, right?
Lynn's just talking to the wolf. Now
Medium.
Boss is
I
talking
believe
to the
him.
owl.
Or medium? No, I'm not. I'm sleeping
Next
on.
medium and heavy.
This forest is changing people.
That actually makes studded leather so much cooler. Studded leather.
Studded leather? Yeah, so you
So yeah, I guess I am sleeping in
Yeah, it's comfy enough. It's it's pliable and it's made of rough-hewn leather. And depending on which region it came from, where you're
Funny.
from, it's pretty sturdy. So
Alright, yeah. I head to bed.
anything else?
No.
I curl up with my shield, so I'm holding it, so I got a +2.
So you have to be wielding it.
I mean, what is wielding?
You know exactly what wielding is. Don't play games with me.
Define not wielding.
If it's not in your hands being held in a defensive posture.
I mean, what is defense?
It's about to equal a dead character.
I mean, if I get shot by an arrow when I'm prone, it's kind of a defensive position.
Alright, so are you trying to defense it?
Yeah, I'm trying to defense it.
Defensive.
It's not uncommon, especially your shield is a you have one of those heater kite, one of those triangular ones, right?
Yeah.
It's like kite shields, heater shields. It's designed to the common templates. Just kind of like has a point that comes out and comes down and around. It's pretty common for paladins and Ravadas. But I mean, it's not uncommon to dig and put shield standing upright in the earth and be hide behind it for makeshift cover. So.
I want to get a kite, not a kite shield, but the Roman dome shields. I want to get one tall enough, like the tower shields, the ones that curve inward.
They just call them shields, bro.
Shields.
I don't know. I'm not that smart.
Shields, bro.
I want to get one big enough that it curves inward. Like when you sleep at night, you're just like dunk.
Yeah.
Little coffin.
Yeah. Little safety coffin.
Character idea.
I sleep in a coffin.
I mean, I guess it does qualify.
Well,
full cover?
I guess it does qualify as what we would call fantastically a tower shield. When standing and leaning in the Roman shield, it would cover from your neck to your feet, all the way to the bottom, so that you couldn't get stabbed in the feet. So the way they would wield it.
Yeah, when you're sleeping, it's just like perfect little cocoon. You're just like warmth.
In your head.
Anybody else?
Your head's gone, but you're warm.
No, I'll probably just fall asleep leaning against a tree, staring at the little ball of light that I've.
Staring at the ball light?
Yeah.
How long
Don't
does this
stare
last?
directly in the light.
I mean,
Lasts an hour, doesn't it?
it lasts an hour, but I'm just gonna keep until it takes me to fall asleep. I'm just
Is it
gonna keep.
cancer? Right?
Yeah, it's a cantrip. Keep it going. You know?
He's like he zones in. Concentration gone. Wakes up. No.
So,
No, I have.
you guys finish up your bantering and your discussions of magic and kind of doing all the things that you do at night, eating dinner and you're resting. Eventually, most of you, one after another, you just kind of fall asleep. You know, you listen to the sounds of, it sounds like the ranger at one point starts playing like a light melody on some sort of instrument, some sort of wind instrument. And then the wolves are up and moving around throughout most of the evening into the late night when you last fall asleep. Some of the younger pups playing and wrestling out in the grass in the fields before finally being corralled into their spot to sleep with the older wolves.
Remember that next time you kill a dire wolf. That was someone's parent. Someone's baby.
Go play with them.
Go run free. Where did the naked hard right running go? All dogs are naked.
Just like we all go to heaven.
That's not true. Some of you go to Baitor.
Well, those are bad boys.
Those are bad. They're bad boys. So,
Bad boys.
it's extremely tranquil and quiet in the grove. There's wildlife out there. Every once in a while you hear like some sort of quail or game bird that's cooing out in the distance, and you hear crickets or locusts, cicadas of some sort nearby. There's a strain. Some of the flowers actually give off a light, like luminous feel to them, like in the tones and different colors as wildflowers. Certain sections will kind of, in the moonlight, will kind of shift colors or fade in and out. Very, very strange compared to what you're used to seeing. And when the moon, you notice, is striking, the moonlight as it's striking the Fey Gate, some of the writing is kind of in a light, strange, whitish hue on it. You should sleep through the night. Nothing happens.
Yay! Peace and quiet night.
Peace and quiet and tranquil. You all have normal dreams, the ones of you that remember. And you wake up refreshed and feeling good about going forward, feeling like you're heading in the right direction, like this is coming to a head. That you now have a destination and your first real lead, which is an occult expert in the city of Rivergate. Which I actually believe I forgot to give it to you, but it doesn't matter. But it's Anselm, so Anselm.
Ensol.
Oh, geez. Thanks a lot, guys. I had fucking weird dreams because of y'all.
But
You said
But awkward,
Yeah.
scary pause when we're all out of armor, and you made sure to ask
why
every
is
single.
why is there always scary pause?
Because of the
It's
light
'cause-
flagging.
because
Yeah,
you were-
but you had a peaceful night.
Yeah.
But
But
But-
you made sure to ask every one of us who was wearing
Yeah,
armor,
right.
run there in armor. All right, this is like
But a party member is missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
the reason is symbols.
No, the symbols are actually the one persistent in most of your dreams is all of you kind of fell asleep focused on them and focused on this strange grove and waking up at level 7.
The butt. Good butt.
Yeah.
I love butts. Whoa.
Yeah, don't kill the people's
Whoa,
mind.
calm
Use the
down.
microphones.
Calm.
I'm so excited.
No
The
yawn.
party's very excited.
We
The characters
did it.
are
It's my first level up.
we did it.
Level up.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
I'm so
How
excited.
pumped
No, I
are
want to delete
you?
my character.
But
I'm pumped. Very pumped.
It comes at a
I'm
cost.
pumped up 7
it
times.
comes at the cost. Wait, why is he leveling me now? When we're headed places.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
It's because challenge rating dictates it.
Oh no.
Yay! Queen Reaper is excited. Let's do some hype in the chat for the players leveling to 7. What? Queen Reaper, what's going on? How's it going? It's been a while. I actually haven't stopped by your stream in a while. I've been super into Battlefield 5's Pacific Theater update, so I have not been spending much time at the computer at all.
I don't get jack garbage this
My
entire
brief
level.
discussion
M1
with
Grand,
the
man.
bard
Pat, pat, pat,
about
pat, pat.
magic means I get a level of wizard.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Dude, they
you get to
added
cast
animation,
4th
your
level
thumb gets
spells.
stuck.
Wait,
Like
really?
it snaps your thumb. Yeah, you have like a 1 in like 100 chance or something of like your character getting snapped in the thumb with the.
I die while reloading, so I don't
Yeah.
get that far. I'm
Yeah.
like, I went too far. I pushed too hard.
I've gone too far.
I'm super stoked yet sad at the same time.
Where's the tank?
Oh, never mind. No, I got a 4th
Very
level spell. I'm excited.
Yes,
They added
just
Iwo
trying to tell you.
Jima and they added Pacific
Go ahead.
Storm, which is a remake of Parasail or Parasail from Battlefield 4.
That's not good.
I do love defeating those Americans, man. You know, they kind of land on my beach, and I'm like, no way.
It is fun. I actually really like playing the Japanese on Iwo Jima. I actually like playing the Japanese and Americans on Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima is a great map. It looks awesome. Alex saw it last night. Whatever I was playing, it looks really good. But I do not like Pacific Storm. I hate that map. It's so imbalanced. It is so balanced in the favor of the defenders. It's like there's just too many places for these fucking people to lay down and shoot you from. Like I'm like, oh look, I can reload behind this rock. No, because there's some douchebag hiding in the bush back in my spawn area.
Oh,
You know,
D-bags.
it's terrible. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And listen,
Sounds very
Well,
hygienic.
it's
you got
very
on the
fun.
island. None of that is their spawn area.
It's very
Oh,
fun.
God, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I can
know.
change spells if I want.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna start playing WoW. I'm sorry.
I gotta get my name
Oh my god.
You're
I'm
lying.
sorry.
I don't know
You're
what I
I'm
want.
so sorry.
I don't know what I want.
I don't know whether to wish you good luck in enjoying it or not, because if you do like it, you're not gonna be playing much Rainbow Six Siege anymore.
Yeah.
We'll never see you again. You'll be lost.
Oh, I've been
You'll be
waiting
bored.
for the past 45 minutes to get this raid started.
It will consume you.
God.
Okay, so how
It
does
will
this work?
consume.
Oh, you didn't drop it this time. It's only a
But,
0.031% drop.
People who aren't familiar with what we're doing, we are not doing XP level. Normally there's an XP chart that says that the players earn enough XP from defeating enemies, just like a standard, almost everything in the world that revolves around the way this works now. On the game levels, but we're doing milestone, which basically means at a dictated pace and interval in which I choose, the players earn a level, which I think is super fantastic and works really well
I
because
don't
it
feel like
keeps
that's
the
the whole
players at a steady area where you can give them more encounters that are appropriate to certain levels and levels of play before they outpace it. You know, goblins are only a threat to a certain level of players in certain numbers for so long. You know, but since it's milestone, I can kind of extend how long goblins, orcs, or certain encounters are relevant to players.
So we hit level 7.
Siege is not going to be your boo-boo. I'm telling you, it's not going to be your boo-boo. If you like WoW and you dive in, like, you're going to do nothing but grind WoW for like a month, 2 months, just playing. If you become addicted to it the way that I get addicted to video games.
Yeah, Siege. I mean, no Siege.
WoW, there's so much.
This spell transforms
So much to
into a willing into a neutral.
I guess Siege can be your boo-boo queen, but you're gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna take to sit on the back burner for a little while.
Second.
Aside from that, though, when you think about the new operators, I guessed the fucking sniper rifle thing like a year ago.
Completely off topic. Well, off topic to the current subject. What? Okay, polymorph. What can I turn into?
Anything?
A beast.
A beast of a challenge rating equal to your level.
For
That-
just regular
That's
polymorphs,
that's
you
why
need
that's
beasts.
why I was reading because like
It's incredibly unbalanced.
I kept reading it for a while and like I just
deeply powerful.
I'm debating if I want to take that or like
Again, Queen, I'm telling you, I don't think you understand what WoW has done to people's lives. If
That's-
you like it, you're gonna play it.
Again, you don't have to cast it on yourself. You can cast it on someone else. too.
Alright, I just want to say something that I believe with all my heart. If you have a chance to take polymorph and you don't, you're dumb.
Matt's normally not that blunt about stuff.
yeah, I'm gonna take polymorph.
It's pretty strong.
Whoa! What's your spell list?
Well,
look like?
we're
What
looking
about
at it the wrong
Xanthars?
way. We're looking at it the wrong way. Polymorph isn't just target self.
Yeah.
You could turn something else into a challenge
Like-
rating.
Like a barbarian.
No, like a familiar.
Well, no, because they have no challenge rating.
Oh,
So
there's
they
no
can be
level.
nothing.
Right.
But a character...
But something like a vampire can be turned into a wolf instead.
Or...
True, which is a lot easier to manage.
Yeah.
Or a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Or a
Mm,
T-Rex.
that's
Or
Come
you
here,
could
I'm
turn...
into something worse.
You could turn someone into a giant ape, and then that giant ape could transform...
Are you taking polymorph?
I think I'm thinking about it.
Remember, there's other spell lists than just the player's handbook.
Yeah, there's Xanathars.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, darn
But
it. Well,
you could
it's-
change another player into a giant ape, and then that giant ape could turn into a giant ape werewolf.
That's cool. Can you hand me
Now
Xanathars?
wait a second.
No, not by me.
They can.
They can because
It's
you're
over by the
you
computer.
You just can't cast spells.
So you can become a werewolf ape.
Well, rules is written. It's everything's up to the DM. DM might be like, oh well, you're an ape, so
Well,
you're not going to turn.
Okay,
into
so I get the Xanathars.
Yeah,
But
I
if-
would rule it if you turn into a werewolf, then you would turn into your werewolf form, shedding the ape.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the way that you can and how your shapeshift works. You shed the skin of whatever current
Yeah,
form you're in.
yeah.
That's why I was so specific about what your werewolf, how you saw your
But
werewolf work.
but then and then like a barbarian
Chest
can
burster
rage.
out of a giant ape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like a barbarian can rage while they're in whatever beast shape they are in.
Fine.
Like I
Grab
cast
my digital version.
in another game.
Is it not over?
There was a
I didn't see it. It's not over there.
there was a barbarian zealot that I turned into a giant ape that then raged.
There's my D&D.
I mean, you can. The problem with polymorph, frag out is I believe if you do enough damage to it, you get out of the form it's in.
Yep. Well, it's much like a
Wild
druid's
shape, right?
wild shape.
Yeah.
Once you do because you're a beast, you don't have a lot of armor.
Mhm.
So when you use the creature's use up its full health, you drop back to your form, and then any over damage carries over to your form.
Yeah.
The difficulty is if you cast it on yourself, you still have to it's a concentration spell. So if you take damage, even though you're in this extra health beast shape, you're still taking damage. So you have to make concentration saves. But if you
Cast
use it
on
to
somebody else.
but if you use it to help out your buddies, and you don't have to go with the max. Like say there's something you want to turn your buddy into a mouse, so they can get out of a cage or whatever the case may be. You don't have to just go min max. But that's one of the challenges of polymorph, and I think that's the only thing that kind of balances out because it's really strong. Because when you cast it, the challenge rating is equal to your character level, which means you're turning someone into a beast. That challenge rating should be able to fight a party of characters at whatever their level is. So, because of how challenge rating is developed.
Yeah, the challenge rating is based on a party of 4.
Yeah, but still a party of 4.
Yeah.
I only get Charm Monster. That's the extra spell I get from Xanathars.
This charm monster is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Charm monster is better than charm person.
And because it's a monster.
Well, I wouldn't say it's more, but monster fits a large category of things that isn't charged.
Yeah, it says you may attempt a creature.
It's like
You
hold
can
person.
see.
Hold person is great, but again, hold monster is way better because you're fighting monsters on a regular basis.
That, and if the monster gets upset because everyone knows when they're charmed, who cares? It's a monster.
But polymorph is definitely strong. The thing about polymorph, why I say using it against enemies, is because your party might not be able to handle a fucking vampire wizard hitting you with fucking meteor, but it can handle getting hit by a fucking dire wolf for a round or two.
Yeah,
You know? Give you
and
a
it's,
chance to survive for a few minutes while this challenge rating 1 creature
because
this challenge rating 14 creature.
When you're polymorph, you can't use spells, but you can use other features.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things. That's why barbarians can still rage.
Yeah.
But yeah, specifically with supernatural abilities and stuff like that, it's a good way to circumvent it. You know, Hill Giant can't
So
throw
yeah,
a boulder
what
at
I
you
have
if
is
it's
Charm Monster,
a puppet.
Compulsion, Confusion,
Yeah.
Dimension Door, Freedom of Movement,
Dimension
Greater Invisibility,
Greater invisibility is super strong.
Hallucinatory
Yes.
Terrain,
Even
Locate-
hallucinatory terrain is good too.
Locate Creature,
Locate creatures great too. All those are good.
But
Most
also,
of them are
you
all
have great
thematic
spells.
and utility spells.
but also,
Okay.
polymorph.
Locate creature doesn't work on a person, right? If I knew the person's name.
No, that locate object. I think there's locate person spell.
No,
right?
locate creature would work on a person.
Does it? I
Pretty sure. It just expands the definition of what you can define of locate.
It says describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. You can sense the direction
Yeah, I
the
guess
creature is
people
looking.
count as creatures. It's just they're really weird
yeah.
with the humanoid tag and the
Yeah.
people tag. Like
So-
whole person
so creature-
obviously doesn't work on monsters.
So,
Well, so here's the trick then.
in this
'cause
game, hold on.
Even
in the
though I
game,
would say vampires are people too.
spells can target
That's right.
certain things.
Vampire rights.
When the spell says it can target a creature, that means any living thing.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Oh.
I mean, so
Dude.
that's the distinction. Like,
Cast it right away,
sometimes
know
you
where
can-
Lynn is.
Sometimes you can
Cast it
target
right away, know where
creatures.
Casey
Oh
is.
my
Stop it.
gosh. Yeah, that's where I was just like, that's
You're
great.
pretty intimately familiar with Casey. The spell will work pretty good for that.
I think it's very far though.
It's 1,000 feet of you.
1,000 feet.
We can't go through.
Yeah, but you just get him river
It's
and
not
just go.
scrying, but
It's not that. It's not crazy far.
I mean, you could just be better off locate object if she's dead.
Oh! Oh!
Wow.
The body of.
The body of
because a
my
dead
first
person is a
bones.
corpse.
I'm gonna say greater invisibility.
That's an
Yeah,
item,
that's
not a creature.
it's true. That's basically more or less how it is
You
described.
wear bones.
You
Bones
re-inhabit
are
this
things
new
now.
form in this polymorph, so you're in there, but you're limited by the form and what the form presents to you by the rules of magic.
So dimension door works up to 500 feet.
That's an instant it's a pocket teleport.
And you
Yeah,
take
you
one
can
person.
take person, or you can take something that weighs up to.
It's a very good spell.
It also
We use
it
dimension
also
door to get-
circumvents, objects in the way as long as you see the
And
spot on the other side.
and if you need to and you're gonna die anyway, you might as well just suicide charge dimension door into someone's chest.
That's not how that works.
Yes, it does.
Well,
Has to be a spot you can
I
see.
can target somebody, hit somebody, does 46 damage
Yeah,
to both of
if
us.
you can target a space someone's occupying and it does damage.
That's literally the last paragraph of the spell.
But why? When you can take polymorph.
Dimension door is what we use to get past the lightning. The electric trap.
From one point to another, just instant.
I don't know. Greater invisibility sounds great.
They're all really good. The real thing to consider is this,
What
right?
level spells are they?
4th.
7th
Yeah,
level.
they're all pretty great.
7th level is the end of, or is it? I believe it's 5 through 7 is tier 2. So you're entering like the end of like tier 2 play in Dungeons and Dragons. You're like near the end of it, which means like tier 3, like end game, is starting to develop at this point past level 7. So you have to consider, the thing that I think you would need to consider is what everybody else has earned, right? Like, what spells is everybody else taking? Like, Boss is an important person to ask what spell he's taking, if he even gets one, or an additional one, like what he can do. But the question is, what kind
But
of...
I can cast level 2 now.
Hey!
Hey.
Is polymorph is great,
Hello, Misty.
right? But creatures do get a save against polymorph. So it's limited in the way that it could work or couldn't work. And against legendary creatures who automatically pass a failed save, it's a little bit less useful in its utility. On your friends and yourself, it is. But you know what Dimension Door is great for? Getting across that river of fucking molten lava in the Dragon's Lair.
Ooh, yeah.
Same
Saving
thing with things
someone.
like with the levitating disc and things like Fly. And greater invisibility is also great for getting past things like beholders who are guarding entrances, or things like Medusas who are going to turn you to stone. Because remember, for me, Petrify is save or die.
Ooh, fun.
Petrified.
Because that's the way it should be.
Vote or die.
I like it.
Oh dear, I'm feeling this greater invisibility life.
Yeah, but
I'm like,
And greater invisibility you can attack and cast spells from without... concentrate.
no,
Couldn't
Mike,
you-
No, Mike, you haven't heard my
Mike.
opinion yet.
Wait,
I'm invisible now.
Polymorph opens up a wide variety of things that you can turn into.
And
for
you now
roleplay
see
options.
Theolin just go boom.
You
Hey.
could be a caterpillar,
Mike,
a butterfly.
I don't think those have challenge ratings.
You could be a
Rules is
bird.
written.
Well,
I'd
they're
have to
challenging
decide.
0.
Are they?
or something.
I don't even think they're in the monster manual.
No, why not?
Caterpillars, butterflies.
You don't have caterpillars and butterflies?
Mike, couldn't you also look at the spells that you already
I
have,
don't
pick
know if
one
I
that you
classify
don't
them.
ever use forget that and learn 2 4th level spells?
Bird, I don't know. Fine.
No.
Bird.
No.
Crowd.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Ruin my immersive game. There's no
How
guys.
you have a limited amount of slots that you can cast from, but there's no limit to the amount of spells you can know at that level. You can just only cast the amount of them you have slots for per day.
So if there's a spell that you don't ever use, maybe you should drop that and grab another 4th level
But
spell.
I suddenly have Dimension Door too. Oh dear.
Yeah.
What would I ever do? I got
This
rid
is
of
one.
Bane.
This is an important thing that sorcerers forget on a regular basis when they level.
You can swap one spell.
One
As
spell.
well as learn a new one.
Yeah, like it doesn't. Nothing in the spell
For a while.
thing says you can only know 1 4th level spell because you only have 1 4th level spell slot.
Which
Yeah,
I
you
got
can
stuck in
drop
my
a
head.
level 1.
So
You can know no level 1 spells and just not be able to cast it.
it's funny too because I just dropped a level 1 spell.
That's
for a level 4.
again another reason why wizards are the best fucking casters in the game.
Clerics.
Because you know them all.
Clerics,
So-
same deal. You
Clerics are on the same level as the wizard for casting.
Well, a little better even. Well, their spell list isn't as good, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fact that they just know
That's
all
right.
their spells.
That's why I think you're wrong.
Well, aren't druids the same way? Don't they know all their spells? They just need to take a long rest to commune with nature to change them out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, any of those
And
3,
actually,
where you know them
what?
all,
Yeah.
Right.
But
Greater
wizards are
invisibility
the
is
best
a
because they
fantastic
can know
combat
all
for
the
me.
spells because of their book.
So
That's
but
what
they
the
can't
book
prepare all of them.
I just thought of like Theolin take greater
Yeah,
invisibility,
they can't prepare all.
casting it in a
Yeah, it's
fight.
the same thing with cleric
I
and druid.
have a cantrip that allows me to lower things AC,
Okay.
and I can use a
arcane
bardic
recovery is
inspiration
really strong.
to make you
Dice
guys
priority, thank you for the raid.
Welcome back to Legendary Action. How was your guys' stream? Let's get some hype and have a nice little shout out for Dice Priority in the chat. Welcome back. How was your guys' how was your stream? How are you doing? How are things going over there? Our players just leveled to 7 finally.
Severed.
They're at level 7. A nice little sleep in a near an ancient Eladrin Fey gate in a nice secluded little grove was everything they needed to reinvigorate them and
Yeah, it's glad to see you back. We know you took a little bit of a break, got back in touch with yourself, handled yourself a little bit. So
yeah, I always see those pictures of you working hard at the gym,
Getting swole.
getting swole. Man, how's the rest of the party?
or just like philosophizing on Twitter.
philosophizing.
Philosophizing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Good times.
What is happening with our mod
But
Queen Beezy?
again, the wizard wins out because the wizard has the more powerful spell list in the end, and
Yes.
arcane recovery.
I don't know, that druid. I've seen some druid fuck some shit up.
No, but when it comes to preparing and knowing spells, it's super nice to run any of those 3 where you know all the spells and you can just switch them out on the fly.
Yeah.
But
In
every
my
time,
personal,
Ron,
my
look-
personal opinion, the druid's no match for a fucking nice meteor swarm.
Yeah, the spell list,
No,
the
that's
druid
strong,
is strong,
pretty good.
but the spell list for the wizard
Yeah,
just
Wish
can't
is
be
better.
matched.
That's true.
Right, well,
which I get. Yeah.
not arguing that at all. The whole point was just as far as
Power
preparing
perspective.
spells and shit.
Yeah. No, it's always best to
And
not go spells
Get
down.
in.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Oh, you're a
like,
druid in your wild shape form,
greater
and you're still dead.
invisibility with my character.
Yeah, but listen here, Andy. Listen, you're only getting a D6 of health every time you level up, right?
They do come
And
up.
that's
They do
it.
come up short there, but
Greater
it's a good thing
invisibility's
they're in a
great.
party.
Just keep in mind it's concentration.
I
Listen,
just should
I've
not
seen
shoot no
scenarios,
kid.
Andy, where
Listen,
the
the only
wizards
reason
and
Titan got to
casters...
beat fucking what's his name is because he sacrificed the rest of the party first.
Which one?
Oh, she's selling.
Which fight?
Strahd.
Oh, Strahd?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I didn't stand in the kill cloud.
Yeah.
Oops. The whole party's dying down here, Titan. Like
Sorcerer
that.
is super awesome though. It does have some cool things.
Yeah, meta magic is neat.
Yeah, Sorcerer has a pretty powerful spell
Being able
list
to have
too. They just
two concentration spells running at the same time. Pretty strong.
Invisible and polymorph?
they've got a great
Spell 8.
they've got a great spell list. They've got some great things they can do. They just the spells known really hurts,
Yeah.
and the fact that you just can't change them out. You know, in those
Yeah.
early levels, I think it's like level
I think
1
it
you
would
only
make
get.
the sorcerer very competitive if the sorcerer could change out spells every day, every day.
A long rest.
Yeah, on a long rest, the same way the druid can. Maybe it might not have all the spells known, but it can
Like
have
limit
those.
the whole
Yeah.
spell list, but
Well, at least the thing we were talking about, where it's like change out 1 after a long rest. You know,
yeah.
you don't have to change out the whole list, just 1.
Yeah, just one every
Yeah.
dawn would be great for the.
That'd be
for the
great.
sorcerer.
Yeah.
You know,
The sorcerer comes in real close to the wizard if they make just a couple of changes to to how it works.
So that spell's known. It's just super limiting, you know. And a lot of the subclass features just aren't very supportive sometimes.
Yeah, the dragon wings. Really, the draconic dragon sorcerer is like the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a hard choice.
you get the little bit of extra HP, you get the resistance to damage, you get the higher AC.
You get wings.
Yeah, I mean, Draconic is definitely the best
The
one
Storm
to go.
Sorcerer I love thematically because it fits like all checks, all the marks I've ever wanted to play for like a powerful wizard, but it doesn't have enough that makes me. Yeah, it just doesn't get.
Yeah, it's underwhelming.
And again, the spell list is. This is why I'm so interested in homebrewing like a magic tree system where you can cast spells, and when you level, you can put points into spells and make spells more powerful. Because like Wall of, 4th level is what Wall of
Fire.
Wall of Fire is 4th. So 6th level is Wall of Stone. But it's like, why would Wall of Stone be a 6th level spell?
Right? It doesn't do any
Why?
damage. It doesn't.
Why wouldn't you just cast Wall of and choose the elemental type? Like, I could see Wall of Force, why that would be that high, because Force is very particular.
Yeah, and it passes through
But
the
if you want to
ethereal plane.
thematically play a Storm Sorcerer and have a whole bunch of elemental themed spells, you have to stretch through your entire
We not rated?
list.
Yep.
Yeah,
Spell list to get there.
Yeah, and
Like
it's
Sleep
still,
Storm and stuff,
you know,
there's no like Ice Ball spell, like so you can have
Storm
Fireball
Cloud.
and Storm Cloud or something,
Well, I
Wall
mean,
of Storms.
And then they don't even get the most thematic one, which would be Call Lightning. It's great for a Storm Sorcerer, man.
Oh, the sorcerer doesn't get Call Lightning?
No.
It's a druid spell. Bro.
they get lightning bolts.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
It's
So great. Love Call Lightning.
The Divine Soul Sorcerer is really, really good just because you get access to the Cleric spell list.
Yeah.
But all of the stuff that it gives you outside of that sucks.
Yeah, well, the spell list as a whole could do with being broadened up a little bit.
Just a little bit, just reaching out
Yeah.
a little bit more. The wizard
It's just
has
really
the
hard
most
to do.
complete
Yeah.
list of spells I've ever read.
And I understand why, because they're not worried about like the one spell itself. It's easy to build one spell
Mm-hmm.
and keep it relatively balanced.
But
The
the only
difficulty
thing I
is
got was
where
extra
they start
HP.
interacting.
Speaking
with
of,
Rogue doesn't get anything.
we're gonna take a short break because it's 10:30, so we're gonna be back in
Isn't
like
it
10
anything?
minutes. We're gonna take a little break.
What?
Make sure everybody finishes
Get a level
leveling.
on level 7.
So don't go, go get snacks, take
do
breaks,
it.
whatever. But
You get more features.
stay tuned in. We're going to be right back in about 10 minutes or so
Yeah, go
to
to your,
continue
features
on
and
with the
traits.
game. So thank you all so much. Thank you so much once again, Dice Priory.
Yeah,
Class
thanks for
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Good to see you
And
back,
It's
Matt.
good to see you back and back in full swing. I was a little worried about you there for a while, man. You seemed a little,
Something you get.
in a weird place. But glad to see that you're DMing again.
Asian.
You're back to doing what you enjoy. I
I
get bored when I'm a player. It's hard. Okay, there's so much less going on when you're sitting there as a player. I don't know how you guys do it.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, that's what they say, but it's
And player has to ask permission. DM asks
Evasion's
for
really good.
forgiveness.
yeah, exactly.
That's really what it comes
But,
down to.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Remember
Thank you
that
guys for
the next time that
thank
there's like
you
a
for the
fireball or
subs.
something.
Prozac
It's great.
and Grey Paladin
Oak Tree.
and Oak Tree. Did Oak Tree sub?
Oak
He
Tree
gifted
gives
500
800
bits.
Oh, thank you so much for the bits. I didn't even see that.
You
Oak
went to
Tree.
bed.
I'm super sorry. I
Baby.
hope you see this and accept my apology.
Bye, Prozac.
We must have missed that. And good night, Prozac.
Prozac.
I wish you
Good
night.
Your prize is on the way.
I don't care what Alex
and,
says.
Kilted Viking, thank you for resubbing again, and we really appreciate it. Everybody, we're going to be back in about 10 minutes, so be ready. Okay, live.
Oh,
And we're back.
we're back.
And full.
So
And full, and we're good to go, and we're awesome, and sitting, and everybody has
level.
level, right? We did it!
We're level 7.
Yay, level 7. Whoop, whoop.
Victory.
We did it, guys.
Who actually got something cool at level 7? What'd you get?
Evasion.
Ooh,
Dude,
yeah,
that is
ooh.
cool. That is so
That's gonna
cool.
come in handy. What?
Y'all thought.
Evasion.
Just kidding.
How about you, Mike? What'd you get? You got a new spell, right?
I got a 4th level spell,
Mhm.
and I get all my bardic inspirations back at a short rest.
There you go.
That's a good one.
As a matter of fact, that's pretty good. And I remember hearing the words, "Oh, I don't get anything that great at level 7," or were you just mistaken?
I was mistaken.
No, I said that.
Just didn't read it.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Everybody else.
I did make that statement, and I went, oh wait, never mind, I got a 4th
More
level.
health.
You did. Yeah. More
We
health.
need more health.
More
Same.
I got more health, and now my rights hurt me more.
So
And
counterbalance.
These
Thank-
look like they
thank
go
you.
hand in hand.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer.
Thank you, Mr.
Also, quick question: did you put any hit die in your armor?
I can't. We haven't taken a short rest.
Yeah, it only works. On
We don't
short
do
rest.
that.
Oh.
We don't nap around here.
It should work out long too. It's weird.
And he made it.
Yeah, it only works on short rest.
Way to criticize his work.
For
Of
reasons.
course I will.
For reasons.
Exactly. I don't know.
Because you take short less often.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mr. Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Andy.
Yeah, no more fucking items
Yeah.
for you, Mike.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I love
Mr.
mine.
Green.
Thank you,
And-
Mr.
and-
I'm thoroughly loving my sword.
And
And
now
my
I move
cantrip.
10 feet faster.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that's nice.
You got
Oh.
40-foot movement now.
Yeah.
That's
And
rad.
my jumps are bigger. So my
Ooh.
long jump has improved by 10 feet over the normal statistic.
You're
By
chasing
tenfold?
the monk for movement at this point. The
Yeah.
only thing that outbeats you is the wood elf monk.
And then
45.
high jump. My high jump improved by 3 feet when I'm in my transformed state. And my claws do magical damage, which they should have done the whole time, but whatever. If they're lighting
they
on
didn't?
fire with blood magic, it should just be magical damage. I don't care why that's the feature. Sorry, Mr. Mercer. Don't beat me, Mr.
I mean, I can see why. I would probably give it to you at 3rd or 5th level, as opposed to 7th.
Or just hold off
If
the
you're ever watching.
fiery claws till later.
Otherwise, Matt Mercer will
Yeah,
stand in the
one
corner of
of-
your room
one
and
of-
throw
one of
a
the-
foam
one-
pool.
one
Yeah, it
of the-
doesn't really make
but
sense
I can
to do
understand,
fiery
'cause
claws.
Don't give, you don't want to give your players a magic weapon, like...
Yeah, right. No, and I get that. It's just like, if you're going to be fiery claws...
Yeah. The only exception is the warlock, obviously, because he gets its +1, like, right away.
Well, before it was blood fire. Now it's magical blood fire.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I guess I have a feed.
At first, it was just burning with the passion of your, you as a person.
Woofa.
Yeah, woofa.
You're just so
Burning with
passionate.
passion.
Yeah, so that's what I got.
Mhm.
I gotta move fast, and now my claws do a little bit. They do the same, but now it's magical. Same.
Yeah, we're almost done frag out. We only run till about like 10:30ish or 11:30ish. Sorry, like 11:30ish most of the times if we can handle. It might actually end a little bit earlier tonight, depending on how all the rest of this goes.
Oh.
But yeah. So everybody's leveled. Level 7.
Da.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
New challenges in the future.
Fuck.
Goblin ambush, folks.
A big one because you're all level 7.
Biggins.
Biggins.
Fuck the goblins at you.
Or at least now, see, this is the great part about designing encounters, is now it's not goblins. Now it's now we're back to goblins with ogres, with a hill giant boss. You know what I mean?
And
That's
they're
the great part
throwing
about
the
encounter
goblins.
building. Yeah, exactly.
Level 7 goblins.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Or I just start
Oh,
giving them
no.
feats. You know?
Level 7 bear traps. Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
God, the traps have just fucking
Level
skyrocketed. These are the goblins that have survived.
Well, they can. Goblins can use. Goblins don't get to use their thing very often because they can hide and disengage. I believe is a bonus.
They sure fucking
Yep.
can.
They sure fucking
And-
can.
Well, I can do that too.
Sure. Fucking.
Yeah, you can. But just imagine there's like a whole bunch of little, like, really angry loomies around you, and like you can't hit them because they run up, hit you, and then they run away, and you're just like, motherfucker.
But they just all hide.
And then it hides behind a tree.
And they don't have to have a class to do it.
Yeah.
And
They're
then you
doing it
make
all
them
without
fighters.
class.
Yeah.
So
Without
you make a
class, the
fighter that can
slobs.
disengage as a bonus action. That's real good.
Comes up, hits you twice, and runs.
Yeah, and then when they hit you with the fury of the small.
Fury
Fury
of the
of
small.
Fury of the small.
God, the
Claw.
cold sucks
Add your-
compared to
add your-
that.
Right?
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong?
And I will use Fury of the small.
Yeah. And you just get fucking Fury of the fucking Meek or whatever as a goddamn kobold, dude.
Right.
No, you get the coward.
Yeah.
Yeah, coward.
I'm going to take my whole turn to just tell you how great you are.
I'm so sorry, man. Man, bad pig.
Then the goblin walks up,
It
calls
feels
him.
a little vindictive.
Yeah, the goblin walks up and calls him a sissy la la. And he's like, "Very small. They know how to do it."
Mr. Green, please don't hurt.
It feels a
Yeah.
little vindictive on Watsy's part for what they did to the kobold. It's
Yeah.
like, fuck this little bastard. You suck. You rat. You grovel. You got no intelligence. You're a piece of shit. Minus 2 strength.
You should feel bad.
They're the only small race to be weak -2.
Yeah, you wish you were lucky like a halfling.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Pet Cactus is pretty good, dude, but like as a, it's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, with my weak strength, do I really want to be that close to taking advantage of it, with my hit die and
Yeah, it's like, really, their pack tactics is letting their friends die first.
Yeah,
That's not really pack tactics.
Like, Mr. Andy, do you even
Pack
realize-
tactics as the kobold pushes the other one in front of him.
It's like, do you even
Orc is a pack.
creature that you created to see the light of day? And it was like, no, give it light fucking...
Yeah.
Make it, give it light penalties.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't even feel like it fucking makes any sense.
Yeah.
It'll never see the light of day.
Okay, Mr. Andy, but I don't think anyone's gonna play this.
That's the point.
It's like a orc.
It's all downside. Why is it all downside?
Oh my god.
Because being an orc is hard.
Apparently.
I'm trying to give the full experience. It's a hard life for an orc and a player.
It's a hard not life for orcs.
Like, for
Oh my god.
You believe it
It's like
too?
all the monstrous races except for the fucking like hobgoblin dude.
The Wanty.
Yeah, and the Auntie.
I'm part snake.
And I'm like, evil on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Look what I can do. This hit my jaw.
Eat the child.
That was a naughty thing to do.
That would be a
No.
Yeah, you don't even have to be the abomination to like benefit from it. You can totally play a Yuan-Ti pureblood and look basically human.
Yeah.
Just a gene stealer call.
Yeah, that's what it is. The example they give you is a pureblood.
Yeah.
It's like freaking be an abomination and take levels in barbarian. Fuck yeah. I would like to grapple.
Oh, that failed? Well, I spit acid in his face. Recklessly.
I bet.
Better for the suggestion. I'll be here for an hour as I slowly swallow him.
I'm here to play D&D and fuck shit up, DM.
Man, I'm following the cardinal rule. If you're gonna have an evil character, be evil to the enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil to the enemies. Hey, Leva Lilith. So nice of you to join us. Thank you. I know it's probably a bit late for you, but thanks for jumping in.
I like that
The,
email.
our players just got done leveling to 7, and then we took a short break, and now we're back, and we're ready to start the new day.
Yeah, we started bullshit.
So right on time.
Gate.
That was good.
Right on.
So, you wake up in the morning. The wolves have already dispersed, and but the ranger's still there, and he's kind of just waiting for you all to get up. There's just the very, very beginnings of the early morning starting to break over the horizon, the western horizon. So,
I'll get up,
eastern horizon. But
put on my armor, get ready to.
now my own fucked up compass is messing with me.
The southern horizon.
You want to go south?
You want to say?
This is why everyone gets lost in the woods.
It's a magical world. North is the other way now. Whatever.
Mr.
The
Ranger.
world's flat. Leave me alone.
Ranger man, take me by the hand, take me to the land.
What is
The world.
happening?
I love that song.
You know, actually, pretty cool would be like a world that is like a bunch of like interconnected like rings, like layered or something. Would be pretty neat to play on.
Halos?
Yeah, like levels. You know.
3D chess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know they would treat it like an office building? What world are you from? Level 3 or level 4?
Yeah.
I'm coming down from the head office.
Oh, shit.
You're all fired.
Yeah. 9th grade. Oh my god.
Holy specials.
As you
Everyone-
cast fireball, you're fired.
Yeah, you can tell how you can tell what level they're from because all the levels above dress just a little bit more than the levels below. I'm going to Leadership Academy. I'm trying to get to that next level.
So, yeah, so what you guys doing then? Get your shit together, your fucking armor and all that stuff.
You know,
Put the armor
Back
on.
I don't think I'm ever going to get my shit together, but I will grab my stuff and get ready to leave.
I see what you did there. It wasn't about stuff, was it?
No, it was philosophical.
Oh.
It was about me, but on the inside.
We're not here to talk about your
No,
sad
wait,
life
wrong.
at the table, Alex. Play the character.
But it is his character's sad life.
I draw my inspiration.
You don't see fucking Mike dragging in his fucking terrible sad life at the table.
Nope, we do it for him.
That's
That's actually valid.
me to
That's
it.
valid.
Oh.
You beat me to it. We
That's
don't
right.
want to go into rowing.
Let's not even start on your own.
He's like a little bit of contemplation just for a moment. He's like, wait, is my life that bad?
Oh,
It's not.
He wears that
Still
beard to
full of
distract
shit.
from his life.
He covers the scars.
So Conrad's kind of patiently waiting near the Fey Gate. He actually seems, he's not even really looking at you guys. He seems to actually just kind of be observing the Fey Gate. Looking over it, he's kind of tracing his fingers over the Eladrin script and reading it.
Do we reach a high enough level to enter that dungeon? Is that what it is?
Dungeon.
We just can't see the portal yet.
There's a gate. There's a gateway to the dungeon. This was locked off before, but we leveled up. I'm just being stupid.
I would definitely make a point to walk around.
I have been looking on like a side note that's related to D&D. Like I have been looking at ways to like add interesting like kind of things to the world to explore that you guys can like if you go out of your way to like find those things and like go through them to like give you like rewards, you know, almost like the way like RPGs do in video games, where it's like, hey, these like, which is a perfect example. You can find the places of power and draw like an additional like ability point from them, like stuff like that. Just like things that seem like they're out of the way, you know, if I mention them or like in description, but like it just so happens that this one time it's like
It sounds cool. Let's do it.
yeah, you guys are just like, oh hey, that's cool. And it's like a little puzzle or something you solve, and it's like it awards one
Oh,
player with, like,
puzzle?
ability
No.
point.
No, I'm not doing it. Killing stuff. Exploring new lands. Puzzles? No, that'll destroy the whole group.
I
Scarab's
love
got both.
puzzles.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it would be the kind of puzzle where you go and find what you need, and then you have to do the work like outside of that space to like learn the secrets or figure out what's going on. Then you get to open.
It's like a long game.
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
thing.
long game kind of thing. You know, so that way you guys can't like abuse it and just go from one landmark to the next and earn like boons and stuff.
No,
We
I-
would never
Stop
abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I go buy like a game guide at GameStop that has a map where all these locations are?
With the amount of writing I've put into this, if you took my notes, you could.
Is that a purchasable item?
Yeah.
So either way, I was just
Sorry.
I put in a lot of
Side work.
like side work into that concept these last
Cool. I dig it.
so. The trick is disguising it and getting your players used to like passing these things on a regular basis without thinking much of it in that way.
So what he just said is we passed like 3 of them, and he gave.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, I haven't implemented any of it.
I'm sure we have. We've passed the 3 potential ones.
That's the thing that I've been struggling with is trying not to make it like
Well-
every time you enter a new space, like is there anything out of the ordinary that I see?
Well,
And
yeah.
trying to- you know what I mean? Like,
Or like I have this obelisk that's just by itself in the middle of the desert. There's nothing to
Malachi!
it.
What's up, Malachi?
And then the players get hung up on this obelisk that means nothing.
I can't identify on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I take a long rest near it.
Yeah, avoiding all that shit.
I hold the obelisk. Have I attuned to it?
I dig it out.
For now.
I want to channel all my arcane energy into my hand and touch the obelisk.
Cast
Trying
fireball
to figure
on
out
the
what it
obelisk.
is.
Yeah, trying to figure out what it is. No, I'm just going to release the energy.
I
Just
would like.
to see what
I didn't
happens.
say release. I said I would like to disperse the energy to see
Yeah.
if it like does anything.
Yeah.
And then this is when Alex kicks in. Dispel magic? No. I just want to disperse the magic. So you're trying to dispel it.
Lazy Panda, what's up? Thank you
Yeah.
so much for dropping by. We
Shut
appreciate it.
up.
And Malachi,
Alright,
too.
so- Alright, so what are you guys doing?
Don't do that.
Getting our armor on.
Yeah, you guys get your armor on. Everything seems fine. It's very early. It's still pretty dark.
I guess I'm going to walk up to the ranger.
The only reason you can even really see him is because he's kind of that faint glow from the face stone is kind of casting a silhouette on him, like a dark silhouette.
Once I get my armor on, I'd like to approach him.
Okay, so you walked over there first, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he already. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I darned it.
Are we getting ready to leave? Something going on? Is this usual?
The rooms.
The stone. I think we were calling it a gate.
Yeah, the fake gate.
Is it
Next
opening?
thing.
Is that how we're going to get there or something?
No, I've told you before. These haven't been used in thousands of years. Nobody knows how to use them except for the Fae.
Does it normally activate like this? Is this usual?
Most of these gates have some sort of residual magic left on them. Something.
But knowledge of how to kickstart them has been lost, I guess, huh?
purposely, more likely.
Well, I think the gang's getting ready to leave. I know you said you wanted to leave before the sun really came up.
Yep. Right away.
So
we catch the goblins on their way back to their burrows and avoid them.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna go grab my horse. I think we're ready. So walk off to grab my horse.
And then, as he's walking away, you walk up, Mike?
Yep.
What can I do for you?
I want to say I came to look at the stone. I was just curious about it personally. I spent some time in the Feywild at one point, and I was interested in the markings of the gate itself.
Well, here it is. It's a Ladrin. Can you read it?
I would like to attempt to read the Eladrin.
You already have. The answer is no.
I would like to attempt to not do this.
Because it's a Ladrin. It uses an Elvish dialect, but it's not Elvish, and it's not Sylvan.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the honor of learning Eladrin. Something I wish to do someday, but not today.
I can't read it either. Even if I could, I don't necessarily know if I'd be able to decipher anything or what its meaning would be.
And then are the runes like a light?
Sort of. In and out. It's very light.
Can I rub my hands over the runes? I just want
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm going to rub my hands over the runes.
Okay.
Just kind of traces?
No warmth or anything to it.
I want to open my book and like sketch them out.
I think you already did that.
This very one? I don't think not these ones.
No, you did.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a long 2 weeks.
Yeah. It should be in your notes.
Jeez, look at the sketching you did.
But yeah, I mean, you don't get any kind of reaction out of the runes or anything written on the fake gate. No interaction. Nothing special seems to happen. The light doesn't fade or go away.
Yeah, I did. Alright. Well, we should be heading out.
I'm glad I remember what your character did 2 weeks ago, Mike.
Sorry, what's your name again? I forgot.
Your character saw us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Remember.
I wonder if there's anyone out there that does speak Eladrin anymore.
Maybe you might have to find yourself an Eladrin if you ever meet one. Maybe they could shed some light on it, or that's why I didn't use sparkles earlier. Yeah, it's maybe elves. Maybe some of them still know the old language of their ancestry.
I would like to. Well, maybe one day I'll learn it, but either way, I guess I should finish packing. Sorry to waste a little bit of your time.
It's no waste of my time.
I head out to finish packing.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Boss? Luminous?
I'm going to go up to the sigils, and I'm just going to start, like, in my very best, like, sketching what it is.
You're going to sketch the whole gate? Like the stones? Or just the Ladrin?
Just the Eladrin.
Okay.
I'm just going to sketch it in my notes.
Okay.
Notes. Fey gate. Fairy gate. Fancy elf gate. Fancy elf language. Quotations Eladrin.
Alright, sounds good. Anybody else? Anything you do in the morning? Nothing?
Oh, not really.
Other than cast light, because it's dark.
Yeah, it's still pretty dark.
No, just kind of bored for everyone to looking around and whatnot. I'm just gonna see what flowers my horse likes to eat. No, all right. Take another.
Picking flowers. Cool dragon, we're just walking around the road picking flowers.
See if my horse will eat them.
No.
Pet it on the side. Tell it I should give it a name. I don't know yet. What about this one?
Alright, so, so you guys gather all your belongings, you get the horses, and you start heading off, following Conrad further into the Oak Woods. The dense and primeval forest filled with dire oaks and massive, huge trees as you get further and further from the edge. Even some interesting trees and landmarks as you go through the forest. You recognize like dragon bark, which is a strange magical tree. It's really warm to the touch and almost has a sort of like internalish. The roots have this almost ember glow sometimes, where you can see them or they connect into the ground, and sometimes you can see where they run underneath the earth. And Conrad seems to be having you follow, for the most part, leading outside from the stay gate is sort of like an interspersed, like stone path with like one stone block that's about a foot by a foot or so, like with about like a 10-foot gap between each one, going through these ancient trees.
Did they look like they were cut, or like more like they were just rocks that were moved?
Oh no, they look like they were designed that way. They look like they were cut that way. Yeah, it looks like, and some of the stone has like almost like every once in a while, the stuff that's not kind of overgrown, semi with like undergrowth or leaves are covered as you're stepping on it and walking, and some of it seems to kind of change colors a little bit. Almost in the way that the runes on the Elven Gate kind of lit up and faded in and out, just a little bit. At first, you think it's just like your mind playing tricks on you, but when you do look more closely, as you are all walking across them, you do see that some of this stone has like a color to it, changes color. Lonnie, what is up?
Yeah.
Well, you're back. There's fucking Lonnie Lightning in the house, ladies and gentlemen. It's fucking late for you. What are you doing up, dude? Are you still in Cali? You're still in Cali, right?
Yes. I know your vacation's running out there, guy.
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh, thank you so much for fucking gifted subs,
Oh, this
Lonnie.
guy.
Let's get this guy fucking shouted. Listen, if you people are not following the fucking magnanimously sexy, amazing man that is Lonnie Lightning, you should be, alright? Man is entertaining as all hell. Alright, I'm telling you right now. He's going places.
Breathing intensifies.
Good job, Mike. Good
Lonnie,
job.
let me tell you all about how awesome you are, man. You're so great, so jealous.
Oh, you didn't even do it. Never
I
mind.
wish I had
Good
your,
job.
I wish I
Good
had
job.
your birthmark, but I don't want either of my parents
That's all
to be from there in order to earn it.
Lonnie, I just want you to know that I thought the fork in the garbage disposal thing was very
Oh
good.
god, fucking Amanda was
What?
dying, bro. She was
I'll
dying.
show you guys later.
She'll show you later. She was dying.
It was the
I can't help. I laughed too.
I promise I laughed more than he did. At first,
Yeah,
he was like,
exactly.
It's a competition.
Oh, you guys will see. You'll get it. You watch. Yeah, it was a competition and she won. Look, I thought it was really funny too, but dude, her sense of humor, this was like just comedy gold for her. So she was just busting up. Like, I thought it was funny, but I didn't think it was like what she was laughing funny. You know what I mean? Like, she was dying.
I love that video. I showed it to all my coworkers too. I'm like,
Oh
check
my
this
god. I believe her. If she said that, believe her, because she definitely showed everybody who would listen. It's just like she's going to subject these poor fools to it. Because they're chained to the table.
Unchain the players.
That's how unchangeable.
Hashtag unchained.
Listen, Lonnie, I really hope that you had a great time in California. I hope you enjoyed your trip to Disneyland. I really wish I could have been there with you, but I understand why. So it's cool, man. But next time, for sure.
And it's
I'm
good
gonna
to
be
take that time so you don't burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. You're just built that way, I guess. But yeah, talent, just putting it all out there the whole time, all week.
Drugs.
Just
Every day.
drugs.
Just fucking fatty lines of coke.
Dude, I'm just snorting talent over here, right?
Mounds of it. Snorting mounds of talent. That's what he came to Cali for, because he knows the fucking drug game be real. Especially down south in that area.
I gotta keep it up, because otherwise I'm just alone with my thoughts.
You into the magic kingdom.
That was real magical after getting the shrooms picked off the fucking outside the Sequoia National Forest.
Derek is telling Disneyland right now.
You mean to tell
Who's
me
Derek?
You mean to tell me he could have passed a legend? Fucking
He might
in the
have.
streets.
Ask him if he saw beautiful hair
You saw,
Yeah.
ask him if you saw the best perm ever.
Yeah.
on a man.
On a man.
On a man.
I've ever seen.
On a masculine man.
I'll ask him.
Was wearing pit
And he was
vipers.
wearing,
He was
pit
wearing pit
vipers.
vipers.
Yeah.
So his big old 80 shade. I want a pair of those so bad.
He's
I
like,
need to get them.
I saw a man
They're
with a
dope.
lightning bolt, but I didn't know if he was real.
He just glowed. He was magical. He seemed to just glide across the concrete.
I thought it was.
Shimmering, beautiful man.
I thought it was just another Walt Disney creation.
But then I questioned, was that
Those damn
Zeus himself?
Zeus himself, the mighty god of lightning.
Those damn Imagineers.
I don't necessarily know if that's a compliment, though. Zeus was kind of a piece of crap, dude, so...
Yeah, but
He's king of the gods.
But also,
he was a successful piece of crap.
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
He was skating on his Heelys through Star Wars.
Oh my god. See, now I'm fucking mad at you that I wasn't there to hang out with you at Disneyland. You were on fucking Heelys, bro?
Yeah.
Dude, I would have chased you around, dude, and act like you needed, like, assistance.
Get the fast pass.
It's not Listen, it's not fast pass that everybody has, okay?
I mean, that's true.
Malachi 75 with the Twitch Prime sub.
Malachi!
Malachi.
Thank you so much for the sub, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
he was saying he was going to get a legendary action blankie.
Yeah.
I was
He was
like,
wearing-
What I need to do,
And
what
he
we
had
need
a
to do
white
is we need
leather
to send-
fanny
I
pack.
need to send Lonnie a legendary action shirt. Super bad.
I don't
Gotta
know.
get him
We
a
need
Slice
one.
one.
We need to get you one, and we need to send those cards out to Jeremy too. Keep forgetting to do that. Gotta send them. We gotta do that. Either way, who did those go to, by the way? Trap House Brunch? Oh, Zambies! Lucky Zambies. Zambies, I know you didn't drop in tonight, but if you see this...
Oh, she
later-
dropped in.
She dropped in.
Yeah.
She dropped in,
And
but
did
she
lurk.
was just done streaming. She was really tired, so she left it up as a lurk.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that. You some of the bitches. How dare you not tell me these things? It's
I
fine.
I didn't want to interrupt her groove.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
My
took
players
care
fear and respect me.
Yeah, he keeps us on our toes. She's like, "Don't interrupt me when I'm on a groove."
One of
And
those
then
is
Larry's
true.
like, "Why didn't you tell me I'm on a groove?"
Don't hurt me.
Don't make me pull out the fucking flip flop.
Don't take our Coca-Cola away.
It's the only joy I have left in this world. Oh man. Either way, dude. I hope you had a great time,
Hashtag
man.
no
I
sponsor.
really do. I cannot wait to see you at TwitchCon. We're gonna work as hard as we can to get there. As many of us as we can get there. To just give you butt slaps and big hugs.
Yes.
I'm slapping your ass, Lonnie. Just saying. You're gonna like it, too.
Oof.
Or else.
I'll make sure I'm not
His erection intensifies.
around.
You too?
Captain's love.
You know,
I'm
I
gonna give you all of that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought I felt the table rise 6 inches.
6! You haven't heard the 2-liter story.
No. Wow, inside jokes. Grossly inappropriate inside jokes.
5 inches in diameter, so I've been told, Lonnie.
Wait, that's it.
Oh wait, this is great.
Wait, it's that.
That's a box.
It's a two. It's a that. I don't get it. Hold on.
I love you.
Hold on.
Really
Wait,
impressive.
hold on. 5 inches. Does it mean it goes like this?
Diet.
Those public Australians.
That's how they all
suck.
work.
Oh, jeez.
For those of you who are behind, we're talking about penises.
Man, that's
Lonnie, look, Lonnie, man, I love you, but now everybody's off track.
I don't even know where the rails are.
Yeah, I don't even think we're allowed to tell what the inside joke is about that.
Yeah. That's
We have a new one, Andy.
holding. Yeah. Is it? That's a box.
Hold on, let me get my protractor.
I need a ruler.
for a loyal fan.
I don't know inches.
Dude, that's what he does do, Malachi. He just like drops trial and he's like, "Hey, I don't need to defend myself. It does it for me."
Sorry.
Get him! Get him!
Sorry, it's just after being in the metric system so long, I just don't know the other thing.
That's a
What's the
bullshit.
metric system have to do with diameter?
Bullshit.
Diameter is a measurement.
This is America. We don't talk
Wait.
about metric.
Just Google
We
diameter.
probably should, though.
Behold. Well, I'm gonna call it now. Whenever you come in here, I'm gonna call it the Beholder.
Sorry. Look at my box penis. Behold its glory.
Behold.
This Beholder has one long eye.
It's the
And
winking
staring
one-eyed
you down.
wonder weasel.
So are the pubes the rest of the eyes? Like,
You don't know.
Well,
Wait, take a closer
you
look.
think Alani
Cast ray
is,
of pudding.
you think a person as magnificent as Alani doesn't groom himself? I mean, you're not giving the man enough credit.
there better be a lightning bolt down there.
Yeah, they're probably.
That's the question. Is it a lightning bolt or another perm?
Oh,
Double perm.
is his penis head styling? It's got the shades, but just one of them.
You guys are children.
My face hurts.
Watch it.
Now, son of a bitch.
Yeah. His protection has a frill hanging off it, you know?
He says he braids it.
Yeah.
Do you braid it like a dwarven beard so it's got two clasps at the ends so it hangs down?
Yeah. It's got you got little like jewels in them, like rings. You know?
Would that be uncomfortable?
Probably.
I imagine
Braiding in the first place would be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do your braids hang
Just
low?
stay away
Just
from
level to
Just
info?
get away from the tight braids. Don't do no cornrows down there. Or anything like that.
My God.
He says it looks like
Lonnie, this is why you're always welcome in here.
It's not Dawn Knots.
Listen, Malachi, everybody, all of our regulars who are in here watching, listen. This is what you get from him if you go to. Just go watch. The next time he's live, you see our going live notification pop up in our Twitch stream. Click on it. You will not be disappointed. I promise you.
Just have your children leave the room.
Yes. Yeah.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Lonnie's gonna put her in the mood.
Ooh, maybe don't hide her.
Not for you.
Oh,
It's gonna steal your woman.
I hope she takes it out on me. He's miles away.
Oh my God, dude, Lonnie, what are you doing, dude? You can't be dropping gifted subs like that, you son of a bitch.
Andy, you got a sub.
You got one!
Get one?
You got one.
I finally got a sub to my own fucking channel.
You can finally use emotes!
Shit out these fucking things. Where are they?
He's like a kid in the toy shop. I can use it.
Dude, I'm always like opening up to hit my emotes. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking sub to my own channel.
Gonna throw some hype out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Great at the Table Studios, Mini Painter Luke,
Yep.
Sir Prongs, and Frag Out 11.
I had to join
or
the hype
13.
train.
Frag Out
I
13.
had a 3 month shoot.
Congratulations, way to be rewarded for chilling. So
Yeah.
enjoy your new
And I had to
emotes,
join in there
slam
just 'cause
those Loomy hearts.
my
and
3
those
months was
fucking,
up anyway. Might as well
those
continue
hypes
on.
in there and just
I need
you know,
these
thank
emotes.
you so much.
I need these
Lonnie,
emotes.
you're way too fucking nice, man. Enjoy those custom emotes and send them everywhere, and hype the shit out of the world and Loomy heart everything. And remember to cast Fireball those you wish to destroy.
Yeah, and you're welcome for the material. Just
Yeah.
take that, use it however you want.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man, killing me, dude. Oh, my face hurts.
Which that puts us at our sub goal.
Oh! Thank you so much, Lonnie, for helping us crush our fucking sub goal for the week, man. We really appreciate it. Love you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everybody, if you're not following Lonnie, drop him a follow. Even fucking subscribe. It's worth it. The man is amazing. Just as well as it is. Make sure that you're both following and supporting the Meta Mike and Rowan Doyle in their gaming ventures. It's been a while since you played with him because he's been offline, but they both have played with Lonnie, I believe, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right,
Every
yeah.
chance this man's like,
Yeah.
on Thursdays, he's like, yo, Mike, you want to play? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I've devoted my entire life to Call of Duty at the
Yeah,
moment.
box penis is now a thing, and I'm going to call it the Beholder when you're in here, so.
It's the beholder.
One-eyed wandering Beholder.
Oof. Oof.
Wait, it wanders?
It fucking does now, dude.
It's like a
It
bloodhound.
wanders through all the hedge and trim.
Wait a second. I get it.
God, Malachi, I love your fucking Bork emote.
Dude, yeah.
lizard, bro!
So much. That is the dog, by the way, dude. When someone, even when the door's unlocked and no one knocks, when someone opens the door to come into the studio for D&D, it's just...
I flicked the light switch on and she's just like, I'm like, Sasha, it was just a light switch. Calm down.
Alright, man, no problem. Thank you so much. We're wrapping up for the night anyways, dude, because it's about that time, 7:30. It's a good way to end the show, though. You know, it's a nice lighthearted episode. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the fucking gifted subs. We love you, Lonnie. I'm so glad that I have Rowan. By the way, this is who introduced us to you. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
But, like I met you through him raiding your stream, Lonnie. So thank that man for the wonderful, fucking beautiful friendship that has flowered between us all and you. You know, and for just being on him. So give pat yourself on the back too. You know, or just take care of yourself later and think about us. Whatever.
Tame them all.
I'll be thinking about you later.
Tame them all.
And congratulations to everybody who got gifted subs. Remember, take those emotes out in the world. Show love, appreciation, hype the shit out of people. And remember, this community is super fucking awesome and support everybody. We have a great, awesome little friends list checked out below. I suggest you follow all of those people. They're all worthwhile. And they're all considered our friends and family. Lonnie Lightning is on that list, as a matter of fact, on our page. So make sure you guys go support them. And make sure you drop follows to both MetaMike and the Rowan Doyle. Because you know what? Follows are free. And so are hugs, and so is love. It costs nothing to love other people and share in this community and in the passions that we all enjoy and to spread that around. And that's what this is all about.
That's the quote of the night. It costs nothing to love other people.
He does have a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do. It's very small, but
it just grew 2 sizes.
It just grew 2 sizes bigger. Yeah, exactly.
That's a medical condition.
Get that checked out.
We're in fantasy happy land, all right? You take your sciencey crap out of here.
So that being said, we're going to wrap up tonight's session. We're going to leave it here. We'll pick that up next week right where we left off. Traveling through the woods, following these magical stone steps in this pathway leading away from the Fey Gate and its ancient ruins. And hopefully don't get killed by magical goblins.
Or a beholder in the bush.
Or one just really, a beholder in the bush.
With pit viper glasses.
My beholder is going to be described with pit viper glasses. I'm going to call it
just
Lonnie.
one big ass.
Lonnie the beholder. That's it. That's your NPC for when you come guest star, Lonnie the beholder. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for being in the channel. Thank you, Dice Prior, for the raid. Thank you, Zambies, for dropping in. All the regulars, Kilted Viking, Kima, all the people who got to go to sleep, Grey Paladin. We appreciate the support. We love you guys. You're amazing. We do this for you, and we hope that we can inspire people to do the same thing we're doing, because it's easier than it looks.
We tried.
It's not. It takes a lot of work and
It's
effort.
also
It really does.
difficult.
It's really difficult. It really is. But that being said, I think we're going to look for someone to raid real quick. So if you don't mind hanging out for the raid, we're going to drop you guys into a channel. Maybe D&D related, maybe game related. Either way, make sure you drop them a follow. Make sure you hype, show them the Lumi love, and use those new emotes, new fancy, cool looking fucking emotes that you got. And just be good to people.
Yeah.
And D&D on, everybody. D&D on, bruh. Lonnie, you've been to California, so now you're officially allowed to use hella.
Dude, that's hella sick, bro.
Yeah,
and if anyone asks where you're from, you can say the Bay now, because that's what everyone does from California. Even if they didn't grow up there, if they lived there for any period of time, I'm from the Bay.
Yeah, I'm from the Bay.
And the Bay Area stops never, because everyone's from the Bay. Even if they're from LA, they're from the Bay, allegedly.
And now you can act insulted whenever anyone calls it San Fran.
Yeah, I'm super glad you could show up, Malachi. We love you, man. Thanks for being here. And thank you, everybody who lurked. Thank you so much for hanging out, even keeping the window open. Even if you just remember that if you mute this, it doesn't count as a viewer. So put that volume tab one click away from muted. Okay? Or all the way up. Yeah, or all the way up. Oh, no, I don't recommend that. Not the way this fucking dude claps hands over here, dude.
Or Mike squeals.
Loud and proud, baby.
Loud and proud. Going loud, brother. 6.
We hope you all enjoyed your visit tonight to Legendary Action Official. We appreciate any follows, any support. Remember our links down below, and remember to join Discord. Let's drop the Discord link in there real quick.
We're going to be rating Torn Pig.
Okay,
Oh,
here's the
yeah.
rating Torn
Cool.
Pixie it looks. So remember to give her some love. Torn Pixie's also on our friends and associates list.
Yeah,
Friends
let her
and
know
family
where
list.
you-
Let her
where
know
you came from.
where we came from, that we're there and we're awesome, and you guys are awesome. And make sure to give her a follow. But yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, you can find our links to our socials down below, and don't forget to join our Discord, the Hall of Legends. And
Legends.
have a good night.
Good night.
See y'all. Good night.